comes a battleground under the bright lights of Gold Rush. The third-ranked Bobcats, bold, bruising, and built for this moment. The second-ranked Jackrabbits, seasoned, strong, and still battle-strong. Two states steeped in tradition, separated by miles but joined by a ferocious football feud. It's more than an early season matchup, it's a meaning with meaning. A clash with consequences, a rivalry that roars beyond the rankings. The fans are fierce, the field will be fiery. And when the dust settles in the shadows of the mountains, only one team will emerge from this collision of contenders. This isn't just September football, this is a slugfest under the stars. And it's next on Script Sports. Well, summer may be winding down, but for football fans here in the state of Montana, as well as in South Dakota, that just ushers in the most exciting time of the year. And you know, fans young and old are amped up for the biggest game in the FCS so far, as number 2 South Dakota State and number 3 Montana State battle it out. And we get to call it tonight to kick off year 4 of our Big Sky football broadcast right here on Script Sports. Hi again, everyone. Ben Creighton alongside the former DC Ty Gregorak, Grace Lawrence also coming up in just a bit. And Ty, both these programs may have lost coaches, playmakers, a pair of quarterbacks who are on each team's Mount Rushmore, but the expectations are still high for both programs.
Oh, no question, Ben. I mean, you got 2 versus 3. I mean, last week at the FBS level, it was Ohio State, Texas. This thing is as big as it gets. It is the highest ranking matchup in Bobcat Stadium in the last 41 years. It's crazy.
Now, of course, a showdown of 2 conferences tonight. You look at Brent Vegan, Dan Jackson, the new man out in Brookings, and one thing they have in common, they got new quarterbacks this season.
Yeah, I think, last week, Bobcat Nation wanted to know what the heck they had in Justin Lamson, and I think he proved that he's going to be a heck of a guy. And then Chase Mason, what a story. But going back to Lamson here, I tell you what, I mean, you're going against some of the best athletes on one of the best teams at the FBS level. He was poised. His pocket presence was excellent. I think Bobcat Nation's going to love this guy when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Brent Vegan saying he's going to compete, and that's something that they can definitely go places with as the season goes on. And a good completion percentage last week against Oregon. Meanwhile, for Chase Mason, he's waited a long time to finally get his opportunity to start after sitting behind Mark Gronowski so many years.
No question. Small town South Dakota guy. As Coach Jackson said, he grew up dreaming of playing for the Jackrabbits. Now, he was a great baseball player, started his career at Nebraska, and now he's getting a turn to lead what his dream was telling him to do someday.
Yeah, definitely a crazy route, no question about that. And for South Dakota State, Julius Lothridge, also impressive in that running back group offensively. And look, we know Taco Dowler can do tremendous things offensively.
Yeah, looking at Lothridge here, I mean, he's a Fordham transfer, and I can tell you, Jackrabbit Nation is loving this kid. You know who doesn't love him? The Sacramento State Hornets, because he went off for career highs last week. You can see he's a tough physical runner inside the tackles, and he's got some juice outside the tackles. And then, as you said, I mean, Bobcat Nation knows what this kid can do, but I can tell you there's about 70,000 people in Autzen Stadium that found out Taco Dowler's a real player.
Always a threat, no question about that on offense for Montana State. Again, we're excited to call this game, and we know that Grace Lawrence is also excited to be on the sidelines for tonight's showdown as we send it down to her. Hey, Grace.
Yeah, hi, Ben. Thanks so much. As you guys were saying, both these teams lost such notable players, but they're still in the fight to contend for a national championship. Both these teams have to move on from Walter Payton winning quarterbacks and Tommy Mellott and Mark Gronowski. But it's because of those in-state guys who choose to stay home year in and year out. They're able to maintain such sustained success. Guys like Montana State's Adam Jones, who's the Big Sky Offensive Preseason Player of the Year, or South Dakota State offensive lineman Quentin Christensen. Montana State defensive coordinator Sean Howe told me during fall camp, these players, they've heard the outside noise about all the players who've left the building. No one wants to talk about the guys who stayed. Well, they've got a chip on their shoulder coming into this season. Ben?
Yeah, Grace, there's no question about that. Adam Jones even saying, look, being younger, I think that creates hunger and these younger guys wanting to step up. They're really chomping at the bit to prove a lot of people wrong. And you could say the same exact thing for the South Dakota State squad, getting off to a great start last week in that really not really a competitive game against Sacramento State.
No doubt. I mean, you get with Coach Vegan, the guy has put his stamp on Montana State football. 2 out of the last 4 national championship appearances. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. The mecca of FCS football is in North Dakota, South Dakota, and the state of Montana. This is going to be fun, Ben.
FCS Blue Bloods, who have become rivals over the last couple of years. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda back to return for South Dakota State, but that'll be a touchback off of the foot of Colby Foyker as the South Dakota State offense comes onto the field. And we talked about it a second ago, Ty. What a route to get to this point for Chase Mason. A good completion percentage last week. Not only can sling it, but he can show off the wheels as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're used to talking about, some of these small town Montana kids. This guy grew up in Hurley, South Dakota. I had to Google it. One says over 400. A couple of them say under 400, but the kid is a big, good-looking, strong-arm guy, and he's a leader. He's a humble guy. Coach Jackson loves what he's got at QB right now.
Clean pocket and a strike to Grayton Gannon, the tight end. It's a good start for the South Dakota State offense. And we take a look at our Stockman Bank weather for tonight's game. 81 degrees, a little smoke in the air here in the Gallatin Valley, but thank goodness it's not as warm as last year's Gold Rush game.
Yeah, it was hot. I mean, it is a perfect fall day. The only bummer for the South Dakota State fans is they don't get to see the Bridger Mountains. We got a lot of smoke, but it's going to be a great night.
Mason will keep it himself, tuck and run. And he gets short of the 40-yard line. He'll pick up a first down for South Dakota State.
Yeah, this is a good job by Mason, just recognizing, okay, he got nothing open, or as always, he's going to try to take what they give him. That being said, for a big guy, he can run and move the pocket, keep his eyes downfield. If it's not there, like I said, take what they give you. First down, Jacks.
Well, big body, 6'4", 240, and some of the coaches at South Dakota State said sometimes he would lift, just like D tackles, had to tell him to lighten up a little bit. Pressure coming. Floats it downfield, and that one hauled in. Lofton Ogrowski with a big catch and getting into Bobcat territory.
Yeah, this is a great throw, and a great catch because there was some hand fighting going on. You'll see it down here to the boundary, and he's getting hit. Again, that big body guy, it's a great shot by Eckert. Little bit of contact there. Just a fantastic play, though, to go up and get the ball by Lofton Ogrowski. Had a huge day last week, Ben.
Quickly to the line, Julius Lothbridge. Ahead for a gain of 4. And now taking a look at players to watch, sponsored by Jewelry Design Center. We just saw Ogrowski just a second ago there with a big catch right there. And for Montana State's defense, Kenneth Iden has been big on the defense.
Kenny Iden's a local boy, but from Bozeman, Montana. He had a huge run in the playoffs. Just worked himself and developed himself into a fantastic player, one of the 6 captains on this Montana State football team in 2025.
Again, players to watch, sponsored by Jewelry Design Center. Here's Ogrowski, and again able to move the sticks.
Well, it's a heck of a job. I mean, this not the most friendly confines here. You can see the sea of gold on what is now become the annual first game Gold Rush. The Cats are 16-1 in it, and all they're doing right now, Ben, is moving the chains. And this is a nice opening drive.
Well, you saw it last week against Sacramento State. They were able to move the ball, had a couple turnovers when they got deep into Sac State territory. So this is an offense who has shown early on this season that they can really produce and march down the field. Play fake once again to the far side. Another connection to the sophomore.
Yeah, South Dakota State offensively last week was almost flawless. I mean, 240 yards on the ground, almost 200 in the air. They were 2 of 3 on 4th down. They were fantastic in the red zone. All that being said, they gave up 7 sacks, Ben, and they were only about 33% on 3rd down. Both things that I know Coach Jackson wants to see cleaned up this week.
Yeah, also emphasizing to us that finishing drives so crucial for this Jackrabbit offense. 2nd and 3. Bouncing through the line, once again, Julius Lothbridge. Again, a big physical downhill runner with sneaky speed.
This is one of the matchups I can't wait to watch, is these 2 offensive lines for these outfits. The Missouri Valley is known for big men. They call them the 605 Hogs, Ben. And I did a little arithmetic. The average height on the 605 Hogs is 6'5", and the average weight is 310. Standard Missouri Valley stuff, and offensive lines built to make championship runs.
High formation on 1st and goal. Back to Lothbridge. Inside the 5. As they'll rule him down at about the 3.
Well, their primary, what we're going to see out of South Dakota State is primary 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end, and then they mix in a lot of their 2 and 3 tight end sets. That being said, when they start getting into that black zone, that tight red, you're going to see a fella by the name of Andrew Gustad, number 43, big fullback out of South Dakota, Boylan, South Dakota. In fact, they put him in last week and threw him the ball on basically a power pass. A nice play by him. You can see him in the backfield now.
Yeah, had a touchdown reception against Sacramento State. And reaching for every yard he can get. They'll go to James Basinger. Hunter Parsons with the stop.
Hey, you can tell Montana State here, I mean, they're starting to go big, you know, and right now you're seeing another substitution here by the Cats. They're trying to go big on big. They're about the 2-yard line. This is what I was talking about last week. This is 23 personnel, 2 backs, 3 tight ends in the game. Look for power pass.
Play fake. Mason. Pressure from behind and ripped down. Alec Eckert bringing him down.
The big fella from Lewiston, Idaho, the Washington State transfer. That's a big stop because what I was saying, all the momentum there was with that Jackrabbit offense. Great drive. Nice job by the Cat defense, led by new offensive coordinator Sean Howe, bowing up in the tight red and trying to hold him to 3 here.
As Eli Stater will come on to attempt the 24-yarder. Has only been with the program for about 2 to 3 weeks. And right through the uprights. So the Jackrabbits able to drive down the field, but it is the Bobcat defense being able to hold them to just 3 points. Bobcat offense with the ball for the first time tonight when we come back.
Tonight's game is sponsored by Montana State University, Mountains and Mines, Town Pump, Pump It Up, Stockman Bank, Montana's brand of banking, your Montana Chevy dealers, and the University of Montana. Build your skills the Montana way.
Back here in Bozeman, 3-0 lead for number 2 South Dakota State over number 3 Montana State, as the defense able to hold the Jackrabbits to just 3 points, as Jabez Woods back to return for Montana State. And that's been a big key coming into this one for Brent Vigen. They had to be more disruptive defensively, and even though they gave up points, that's a win to hold them to just 3, as Woods will take it out of the end zone. Woods looking for an opening and gets tripped up short of the 15-yard line. So like we mentioned, Ty, 2 new quarterbacks for both squads, and now Justin Lamson, the Stanford transfer, comes out for Montana State. And you look at him last week against Oregon, 23 of 31, 74%. You know, obviously looking for a bigger day this time around against the number 2 team in the land.
Absolutely. You know, new quarterback. You know, what's life going to be like without Tommy Malott? You know, new offensive coordinator in Pete Sturbuck, who have known Coach Sturbuck a long time. He just recently was at Colorado School of Mines. I'm excited to see how this duo works together and starts gelling together.
Clean pocket for Lamson, goes underneath, and that one complete and absolutely drilled after the catch. Taco Dowler making the catch, and Colin McShane coming in to lay the wood.
And something to keep an eye on are those 5 dudes right in front that we're watching. They call themselves the Don Joy Mafia. A lot of reshuffling with different injuries. New offensive line coach Matt Smith has his work cut out for him. That being said, per usual, over the last 4 or 5 years, one of the most talented groups on this team, the Don Joy Mafia.
Ryan Schlepp, the man in motion here on 2nd and 6. Lamson again swings it out and gets it to his tight end. And not much going there. Joel Ullman with the stop to force 3rd down.
Yeah, 11 personnel, just a quick out, just to get some positive yardage. I really love the play of their middle linebacker, Joe Ullman. He's a captain. He's from the state of Wisconsin. Forced a fumble last week. You know, he's one of those glue guys, one of those heart and soul guys of this Jackrabbit defense. Fired up to watch him for the next few hours.
3rd down and 7. Lamson this time to the near side and finds Ryan King. In and out. Loose ball. And they'll rule it incomplete. Now be fourth down.
Very, very, very lucky for this Bobcat offense here. Ryan King, I mean, it's a good throw, good clear pocket. It was going to be short anyway, but that, he's got to secure that ball and tuck it away. That thing is gold. Ball security equals job security, Ben. And, Ryan King's just got to hold on to that football. If you're not going to get the first, just don't give up a fumble.
Well, again, the struggles continue offensively for Montana State, even going back to their game in Eugene. Brent Vigen saying they had a hard time staying on the field on third down, and now the Jackrabbit defense forces a 3 and out. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda back to return for South Dakota State. And so take it in front of the 30. Dancing. And brought down at the 40.
Well, it's a fantastic punt right there. I've said it every year. If you can flip the field with a punter, the defense becomes a big fan in a hurry.
A big scene here in Bozeman for a top 3 showdown. 3-0 Jacks. A 3-0 lead early on for number 2 South Dakota State, and of course a big one tonight here in Bozeman. Of course, it's a perfect time to ask our fan poll. Which team do you think will make it to this year's FCS National Championship game? Cast your vote now, and we'll share the results later on in the broadcast. Of course, tonight's poll question sponsored by Williams Plumbing and Heating. Visit williamsandplumbing.com to register for a chance to win tickets to an upcoming Cats or Grizz game. Of course, a big crowd here in Bozeman, but Chase Mason and the Jackrabbit offense back on the field, looking for another successful drive as 2 backs will be lined up to both sides of Mason here on 1st and 10. On the keeper as Mason pulls it and will just slide down.
Yeah, it's just quarterback split zone. Going back to that poll, I mean, I said in the open, Ben, the best football teams in FCS football right now are in the Dakotas and Montana. The best teams are coming from the Missouri Valley Conference and the Big Sky Conference. That being said, what's the one differentiator? The Missouri Valley's conference has a lot of national championships, where the Big Sky hasn't had one since 2010, Eastern Washington.
Yeah, I was going to say, quite a few titles for that conference, yes, including in most recent years the South Dakota State bunch. 2nd and 9, Mason. Screen pass going to Ogroski. And the ball's loose, and Montana State recovers.
Well, you talk about making a name for yourself with your first start. Right there, buddy, that is Cole Taylor, the youngster out of Great Falls, Montana, CMR High School. Watch this inside-out play, if we can see it here. Just a little bit of a jailbreak screen. Those guys beat the 600 pounds that are coming to get him. Get the ball out. Nice job putting your hat on the ball. Turnover, that right there is huge, to get the ball on your side of the field with a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, Brent Vigen raving about Cole Taylor earlier this week. 10 tackles in that reserve role last week against the Ducks, and coming up with a big play there.
Well, and he's getting to play because the loss of Neil Daly last week. I think he's going to be fine, but everybody saw who was watching that game. He went out with what looked like a shoulder or an elbow.
In the pistol, Lamson goes to Julius Davis. Mazes his way through, runs into a teammate, an offensive lineman, but a good chunk of yards there for Davis.
Yeah, it's good to see him healthy. He was dinged up, missed most of the year last year. And I'll say this, defensive coordinator Brian Bergstrom. Okay, I've known him a long time, used to recruit against him in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. He's done a heck of a job. In fact, they were flat suffocating last week against Sac State in that go-go offense, if you will.
Davis lowering his shoulder and met by a trio of Jackrabbit defenders. And I'll bring up 3rd down. And like you mentioned, Ty, so much dominance in the Big Sky and in the Missouri Valley, but specifically these 2 teams, Montana State, South Dakota State. I mean, you look at the records from the last couple of years, impressive, not only here in Bozeman, but out in Brookings.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, yeah. And the one thing we're not showing on this is the green and gold in North Dakota State, but you talk about just dominance. You looked at it right there. It's been pretty special to watch.
99-18 total record. On the sweep, Taco Dowler on 3rd down. Cuts upfield and gets tripped up, but a 1st down for Montana State.
Well, you watch this play because we know how dynamic Taco Dollar is. This is a fantastic play right here by Jaden Oliver, who had a nice game last week. He's a senior graduate out of Tampa, Florida. He had a pick last week. That's a heck of a play because we know that guy is slippery, as proven last week against one of the best teams in FBS in Oregon.
New set of downs for the Bobcat offense. Empty backfield. Lamson, he can also scoot, and he takes off. Lamson brought down from behind. McShane again on another tackle.
Yeah, again, that's a nice play by Lamson here. His first look's not there. Second look's not there. He feels the pressure. He gets out of the pocket and gets some extra yards. Nice play by McShane. Really like the way this kid plays as well. Led the Jackrabbit defense last week with a total of 7 tackles. It's got an interesting story. You know, when Coach Rogers left for Washington State, he was going to leave. And then Coach Jackson said, you know what, this is where you belong, and he stayed.
Lamson brought down at the 25. More on Justin Lamson, back down to Grace Lawrence.
Yeah, Ben, when you ask around this Montana State program, you know, what stands out most about Justin Lamson? They all say his fiery, competitive spirit. I asked Lamson earlier this week, you know, where does that come from? He said it's just being around the game his whole life. Both his dad and his brother played, and he just cares about the sports so much. When he was a little kid, his coaches would even tell his dad he needs to bring it down a notch, but, you know, he might need that notch tonight.
Yeah, his brother playing over at UC Davis and very familiar with the Big Sky. 3rd and 3. And swallowed up again by that South Dakota State D-line to force 4th down.
This is what I'm talking about, though. Coach Bergstrom's defense now, I mean, they have been playing with their hair on fire. 131 yards total last week. This is a big stop, and you can see Coach Vegan going to elect just try to get some points. And Sampson's been sharp. I mean, he was sharp in front of a hostile crowd last week. I think that's probably a good call in this type of game. If you can just get some points, you know, and keep dragging the opponent into deep water, we'll see how the fourth quarter goes. We'll see what happens here.
Egan has said he's added leg in the offseason, but that one had the leg, but wide left, no good. That's the South Dakota State defense with another stop. Low-scoring affair early on here in Bozeman. Both Montana State and South Dakota State still looking to get into the blue turf here in the first quarter. And looking at the first couple of drives, I mean, again, both teams are able to get into their opponent's territory. So far, only 3 points on the board from South Dakota State.
Yeah, I just have a feeling it's going to be that type of game, Ben. I mean, these guys have had a lot of dust-ups recently, as everybody knows. Some big games in the semifinals, gold rushes, their place, this place. I just think it's going to be a slugfest. And again, I think it's going to come down. This is not, you know, earth-shattering, but I mean, the fronts of both these programs are ultimately going to end up winning this game.
Yeah, you talked to Dan Jackson, and he even said the strength on defense for South Dakota State has been that D-line, and they're showing out so far. Julius Woffridge finds an opening, gets spun down short of the first down marker. Zach Cruz brings him down. Fans, make sure to show off your team spirits. Send us your best superfan photos, and you can see yourself on the big screen today. Here's how to join. Just scan the QR code on your screen and upload your favorite fan shots. We'll pick some of the top photos and showcase them throughout the game. Good luck, and let's see those amazing fan moments. Of course, sponsored by Marsh McLennan Agency. So now a 2nd down and 1 for the Jackrabbit offense. Play fake. And a strike once again, another laser delivered to Lofton Ogrowski.
Well, we were talking to secondary coach Brian Shepard this week, you know, and what he was saying, you know, they did a good job last week. He ranked his secondary, graded them about a B- against the Ducks. And this week he's saying, you know, what we have to do is play with great eyes. Pre-snap, know the formations, know what we're going to get. They're going to chip at you. That cross action there, that split zone action. Next thing you know, they're trying to get vertical routes out of it. So they got to be really, really sharp with their eyes in that Bobcat secondary.
In Bobcat territory, 1st down and 10. Wide receiver reverse and nowhere to go. Ogrowski brought down behind the line.
Well, you talk about a young man that's making a name for himself here. Cole Taylor, number 34. We'll see him from that inside linebacker position. You can see him right there coming up the middle and just tracking the football. Great. Last play was a forced fumble. This play, a huge tackle for loss, putting it in the 2nd and long. as a defender here, you're major alert for screen and draw.
Already making his impact known here in the home opener for Montana State. 2nd and 18. To the ground game again. Lothridge able to churn up field and get past the 45-yard line, 3rd down.
Well, it's a great run, getting them back into a 3rd and manageable here. Nice play. We're going to see a lot more of this young man just due to some injuries there in the back end. But that was a nice open field tackle by J.J. Dolan. Of course, that far down the field, you don't want your safeties having to make the play. So that defensive front looks like it's the 2D line in right now. Well, I see Hunter Parsons mixed in, but huge 3rd down for both teams here.
5 incoming for Montana State's defense, and it works out. Lothridge swallowed up to force 4th down.
This is a nice job. We're going to see Hunter Parsons here on the back end, just kind of pacing the football play here, and Big Talon Marsh, they're both in on the play. Right there, he gets underneath that block. Nice job bubbling the play, and then Caden Dowler finishing it off. You talk about 2 people that probably need some praise. It's Michelle and Justin Dowler. I'll tell you that, because those 2 kids last week, that man right there led the team in tackles. And then obviously his brother had an unbelievable day against an extremely talented Duck defense.
Obviously has overcome a lot of adversity over the last couple of years with those injuries, as that will be the final play of the 1st quarter. A low-scoring affair in the biggest game in the FCS this week. 3-0 lead for number 2 South Dakota State over number 3 Montana State. Quarter 2 next. Good shot there of head coach Dan Jackson. A special opportunity to lead the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, and we understand that many of you out there have been dealing with some technical difficulties, so in case you are just catching up with us, right now a 3-0 lead in this top 3 showdown here in Bozeman. Of course, Gold Rush, a sea of gold here inside Bobcat Stadium. The only 3 points so far coming off of an Eli Stater field goal back in the 1st quarter. But right now the Bobcat offense pinned deep in their own territory on 2nd down. Adam Jones still in at running back to the left of Justin Lamson. Faking the sweep, Lamson on the rollout. Wide open target. Breaking free, still churning, and getting near midfield.
Well, this is a name we're going to hear more and more of. Dane Steele out of Sheridan, Wyoming. You know I love me some Wyoming, Ben. Younger brother of Coy Steele. Nice play action pass. Really good opening play here. You know, again, I got to know Coach Sturbeck, the new OC. You know, he's been around the block, come up through the ranks, and I got to know him at Montana Tech.
After the play, personal foul, face mask, number 47 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Kyden Fife call for a big penalty.
Yeah, that hurts too. I mean, yes, he already got a big explosive play against you. Then you add 15 more to it. Next thing you know, you're sitting here on the Bobcat 39.
Yeah, you're expecting Dane Steele to step up with Chris Long not playing tonight. Looking to throw, and another completion. Adam Jones showing off the arm as he finds Hunter Province for another 1st down.
Well, I've told you that the young man out of Missoula, Adam Jones, is slicker than snot on a doorknob, Ben, but I mean, he's getting pursued. He's running fast, and then he's throwing it with his left hand here. That's a heck of a play. And again, it all starts on a big explosive play. Tack on a 15-yard penalty. Next thing you know, you're in the red zone.
Well, again, these wideouts for Montana State, they've shown they can throw the rock. You had Ty McCullough with a touchdown throw last year. Lamson facing pressure. Lofts it down the sideline, incomplete.
Lanson's pass incomplete. It's a 10-yard
Center, and we want to be your jeweler for life. Come see us in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
Well, again, new offensive coordinator Pete Sturbeck getting creative here on this drive.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the Bobcats go in and out of their formations here. You can see 12 personnel here with the big 2 tight ends into the boundary, formation into the boundary with Taco in motion here.
On the fake, on the near side again, continuing to use their tight ends. Now to Ryan Schlepp.
Both programs, again, I've already ranted and raved on the size of the fronts and the tight end in the Missouri Valley, but Coach Vegan has really used his tight ends over the years, and there's been some dang good ones that you and I've got to watch. You can see now they're taking them both off and looking like going 10 personnel, 1 back, no tight ends here with the 3 receivers up top. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 into the boundary.
On 3rd down and 8. South Dakota State brings 4. Lampson in trouble with the walls closing in. Still looking to make something happen, and he'll use his legs. Lampson dives down.
Boy, this
is going to be close, and
he takes a heck of a shot.
I was going to say Montana State screaming for a possible targeting.
Boy, he takes a heck of a shot, and you know me, I'm an old defensive dude. I don't want to see a guy lose time, but let's watch this at the end. What a play by Justin Lampson, though. I mean, they've got him dead to rights, so you see what a tough kid he is. But boy, that was close. I mean, again, football's a bang-bang sport. But boy, there was a lot of, it's really close. I can see where they're not calling. I couldn't see where they would call.
In the AVA red zone. Look at that last week against Oregon, 1 for 1 with a touchdown late in that one against the Ducks. And before the snap, flags fly for a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start number 72, the offense. 5-yard penalty. It remains 1st down.
Braden Zimmer, one of those newcomers on the offensive line.
Yeah, just getting a little, again, the front 4 for South Dakota State is dang good. A lot of experience, a lot of veteran leadership up there. Again, you can see what Coach Sturbeck's trying to do here. It was 12, a couple tight ends in the game. Now they're really starting to spread them out while still running very similar plays with their run game.
Lampson has to escape again. And again will run. And shoved out of bounds.
I tell you, I know Coach Vegan loves himself some big, tough quarterbacks. Goes back all the way to his NDSU days. Then he goes to Wyoming and he coaches a guy by the name of Josh Allen, who basically plays the game like this kid. He throws it up in there. But, when you're the starting quarterback, you might want to also start protecting yourself so you can stay alive and in the game the whole time.
Well, you've heard Lampson talk all throughout fall camp, and even saw last week against Oregon. He's a fiery dude. He's a competitor, and you look at his time at Stanford, led the team in rushing TDs. He can get down in the trenches and just be a bruiser.
This is what I'm talking about. Now they're going back to their 2 tight end sets into the boundary. Wide
open on the far side, trying to hurdle a man, and it'll be short of the line to gain. Adam Jones.
Well, Coach Vegan and his offensive staff have got a heck of a drive going here. But now they got to put it in the end zone.
Trying to recreate that viral moment from 2 seasons ago with Julius Davis hurling a defender down at Sacramento State. 3rd down and 4.
An unbalanced formation here, Ben, so that tight end in line is ineligible. Great job by Lampson.
Design QB keeper, Lampson trots in for 6.
Really creative, I just like the mixing and matching of formations, personnels by Coach Pete Spearman. You can see the 2 tight end set there. Adam Jones throwing his stuff up in there to set that block. Rest is on Lampson. Nice job by the big old line.
Well, again, I just said it a second ago. Led Stanford in rushing TDs a year ago. And again, showing off the legs there. Is the PAT good? First lead of the night for Montana State as Justin Lampson finds the end zone. 7-3 lead. And a low-scoring affair as Lampson scoots in. Justin Lamson gets the Bobcats into the end zone for the first time tonight. And Ty, you just look at this guy, so versatile. He's a guy who can run a smooth release and accurate in the passing game as well.
Well, he's just not making any foolish errors, too. I mean, if it's not there, take off with your feet or get rid of it. But this play right here is just a fantastic, tough guy play by him. And then finish it. Obviously, he can't do it alone. You got the big Everett Carr leading the way. You got Adam Jones helping block. But yeah, Lamson, man, I'm telling you, this kid can play. Only in 2025 can a kid start his career at Syracuse, go to Stanford, and then end up in Bozeman, Montana, Ben. But you know what? That's the way of the world anymore.
Well, he said, look, the support that he's gotten in Bozeman didn't really have that in Stanford. And he said that's kind of something you kind of take for granted. But playing in front of a big fan base here.
I was going to say, they like football up here, Ben.
Isaiah Garcia Castaneda again hauls it in off the kickoff for South Dakota State, and he'll get short of the 25. Back down to Grace Lawrence.
Yeah, Ben, after that touchdown, Adam Jones comes over to the sidelines. He starts hyping up everyone. Then Julius Davis goes over to Justin Lamson, goes, that's how you take over. Then Lamson high-fived almost every teammate on the sideline. I talked about that competitive spirit. It's transpiring to the whole team after that touchdown.
Yeah, again, Lamson and especially Julius Davis. I mean, you and I have known the last couple of years how fiery and vocal that dude can be. That's got to be a loud sideline after that.
Well, no question. In both these programs, because of all the success they've had, a lot of new faces, a lot of new coaches, a lot of new players, but the culture is in place. And that winning culture is there for both teams, Ben.
Julius Lothridge lowers his shoulder. And it looks like it's going to be just short of the first down marker to bring up second down.
Coach Jackson was down there pleading his case. It was very, very close. You can see they might look at this. Okay, they are moving it back. Got a little chippy at the end there too with Zach Cruz and Kenny Iden, and you know it's a tough guy game. Take any crap off anybody, Ben.
And a huge game, obviously.
Now second and short here. I mean, you know, one would think take the yards. You got both big tight ends in there, but this is what I'm talking about. Don't be shocked if they almost try a vertical attempt here.
Mason under center, another give to Lothridge. Behind the line, but there is a flag thrown at the 34-yard line.
No, I think it's going to be a false start here. Big time play by Kenny Iden, senior captain. I think they're going to move back.
Illegal formation on the offense. More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Yeah, and you know, for as dominant as this Jackrabbit offense was last week.
Correction. That penalty is declined. It will be third down.
I was just going to say, Coach Iden, his unit just has some stuff to clean up. You know, putting the ball on the ground a couple times, not as great on third down as they want, so they got an opportunity right here to show their third down prowess. But just little things, you know, little first game things that they want to get cleaned up.
South Dakota State 0 for 2 on third down so far. Pressure coming from 5. Almost intercepted off the deflection. But a fourth down for the Jackrabbit offense. And one new feature this year that we're excited to announce, our tag board, as we take a look at a lot of great pictures submitted by all of you fans so far here in the first half. Make sure to keep sending them in. And make sure to scan your photos with the QR code.
Well, you can see in that bottom right, that's Jamison Bergstrom. I wouldn't be shocked if that's related to someone sitting right to my right over here in the booth.
Yeah, just next door to us. Scraping the sky from Pelham. And another fair catch called by Taco Dowler. Again, Justin Lamson, a big addition to this Montana State crew, not only on the field, but off the field. Getting it done on the turf. 7-3 Bobcats here in the second. Well, the Bobcat offense starting to get clicking here in the second quarter as they march down the field on their previous drive, and Taco Dowler in the offense looking to replicate that here on this next drive. And because that's a big story. That last drive, they go 88 yards down the field for 6.
It was a fantastic drive. I mean, now it'll be interesting to see, Coach Vegan, like a lot of coaches, talks about complementary football. And right now, I think they got the pass game clicking pretty good. And we know, a guy by the name of Julius Davis and Adam Jones can really run the football, and they got to try to get some balance, I think, in this offense. But again, coming out slinging again.
Wide open, Taco Dowler. As Lamson swings it out to him. And yeah, you look at the stats so far. Before that pass, 64 pass yards for Montana State, 38 on the ground. A little different than in years past.
Oh my gosh, no question. I mean, in the last 3-4 years, well, shoot, last year, Montana State tied Nevada Reno for having the only other team to have 3 1,000-yard rushers. They've been running the football.
Trips on the far side, 2nd and 3. Now the handoff. Bouncing to the outside, open space. Still on his feet, Julius Davis, before finally getting shoved out of bounds.
Well, we're going to see the replay of this, and again, been some shuffling, but watch number 55 here, right at the end. You can't see it from that view, but boy, he had his hands inside the chest plate, sprung Julius Davis right there. Big JT Reed again. They've been moving around. These guys have been playing multiple positions with the best offensive lines do. They can put guys in different places, but big time block there by JT Reed and that Don Joy Mafia.
Yeah, so versatile on the line, something Brent Vegan has really emphasized, not just this season, but in previous seasons as well. A load of time for Lamson and nowhere to go. As Matt Gehring came down on him for the sack.
Yeah, you're going to see, they play a lot of linebackers in the South Dakota State defense. Really, really nice coverage here. They went an unbalanced, overloaded side here to try to give him protection, but just a nice rush by that South Dakota defense. And again, nowhere to throw, So again, if you can't get a couple yards with your legs, take the sack, live to play another day as opposed to throwing a pick. This Lamson's a smart player, you can tell.
Now Trips on the bottom of the screen on 2nd and 16 underneath. And the ball pops loose. And again, that South Dakota State defense coming up big as Jacob Trimble fumbled it.
Yeah, and this is this is Houston. We got a problem because you've seen 2 wide receivers now. One wasn't a fumble, and then it wasn't a takeaway for the Jacks, but this one was there by Jacob Trimble. They have got to catch the ball, secure the ball. Obviously, you're always looking for that yards after catch, yards after contact. But turnovers, when you got a good thing going, it's going to kill you against a good opponent, and that is what South Dakota State is.
Noah St. Just was the one to pry it loose there from Jacob Trimble. And now the South Dakota State offense looks to capitalize. Again, more tight ends in there for the Jackrabbits. Play fake, and here goes Mason. He can also scoot as well. A first down and slides near the 50-yard line.
Well, and this is pass rush integrity right here. So they're going to bring what looked like to me like an inside cross blitz with their 2 linebackers. You can see them right there with Cook Taylor and Bryce Grebe there. But you've got to pass rush and contain those lanes, and they did not do that. Nice heads-up play by Chase Mason there. Move the chains, Jacks.
Again, he can tear up the turf as well. 10 yards per rush last season while backing up Mark Gronowski. A new set of downs for South Dakota State. Down to Julius Loffridge, sidestepping, and brought down by a gang of Bobcats behind the line. Back down to Grace.
Yeah, when I asked the SDSU coaching staff about Chase Mason, they told me that, quite frankly, he hates to lose more than he likes to win. He played baseball, basketball, and ran track atop of football in high school, as you guys said. He went to Nebraska for baseball originally, then came back to SDSU to play quarterback. I asked him why. He said he didn't have a spot. He had the itch to come back and play football.
Yeah, definitely missed playing the game of football after just 1 semester at Nebraska. 2nd and 14. Ton of time and a laser incomplete.
Well, on top of all that, I mean, not only is he a small town guy, baseball player, but, you know, the 2 ACLs, man, that's not easy to come back from. And it's the same thing we were talking about with Caden Dollar. You know, you got guys that have been dinged up, but they've just persevered and overcome this stuff. And you know, the vocal leaders. I love talking to Coach Jackson about his quarterback. You know, he said he's just a humble guy, has zero aura of arrogance, and he's just exactly what you're looking for when you're talking about your trigger man.
And of course, he and Quentin Christensen, obviously the 2 players who were very instrumental in keeping a lot of players in Brookings after the coaching change. On 3rd down, Mason will tuck it and run again. Jukes past the 50, but well short of the line to gain. Bryce Greedy there on the stop.
Looks like they're bringing out the punt team. I mean, and again, you know, this is the way this game's going to go, Ben. I mean, you got only about 5 minutes left. It's just going to be a slugfest. And it's, you know, going back to that fumble. Who can make the least amount of mistakes? You know, to win the game, you can't lose the game, right? And so 2 good teams here. You got to be sharp.
Taco Dowler is going to let this one fly and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. And with under 5 to play here in this first half, Brent Vigen and the Bobcat offense back on the field. Only 7 points, only 10 total points so far. And Ty, like you and I have talked about so many times, I mean, the Blue Bloods of the FCS are here in the state of Montana and out in the Dakotas. I mean, who's in the mix this year?
Yeah, I mean, and we'll see, you know. I mean, Idaho's obviously come back on the map, which has been awesome to see. But, yeah, look, I mean, there it is. Fargo, Grand Forks, Brookings, Vermilion, Bozeman, Missoula. You got some of the best teams in the FCS. Obviously, North Dakota State's won a ton. South Dakota State, you know, they won 2 in a row. Montana's now played in 8. Montana State's looking for their first since '84, but had a ton of success recently. It's just fun to watch in this region.
Lamson again with the keeper.
Things are getting chippy down here.
They really are.
Which, you know, I love it. First game, 2 good teams. Lamson's going down here. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, I love they're letting them play, Ben, but
the give to Adam Jones and gets upended. And that'll be another first down for Montana State. And again, you just look at the success from all these programs. North Dakota State with those 10 titles since 2011. Those back-to-back titles for South Dakota State under Jimmy Rogers, and the trips to Frisco for Montana State and Montana.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, truly. And we got to call a lot of these games, you know, and watch them. And we never get to do them in the playoffs, which is too bad. But, you know, people ask me, how do you recruit to Fargo, North Dakota? And I go, well, just walk them in the trophy room.
And brought down again. Absolutely swarming over Justin Lamson. Logan Green with the sack.
That's where you got to love it when you're Coach Bergstrom, man. If you can just rush forward, right? All right. So he just came from outside in. It's just kind of a thumb game there between your tackles and your ends. Man, life is pretty good as a DC when you can just rush forward and you know you got a chance.
Again, the strength of that defense, that D line for South Dakota State. And Dan Jackson even said earlier this week, for any questions that the defense had, that they would skip a beat, they were definitely answered last week against Sacramento State. 2nd and 20, Lamson again goes down.
Like I said, exact same. I don't know if it's the same stunt, but last play you saw Raperda in green. I mean, you're watching these front 4 get after these guys, and again, you know, I know it's a new year, new offensive coordinator, but this starting 5, who's moving around a lot, that, you know, and they're being asked a lot. But that's just a 4-man rush with a little bit of a twist game, and they're getting after him pretty good.
Logan Green being a force here on this drive. 3rd and a long way to go for Brent Vigen and his squad. 4 wide. On the draw, Lamson keeps it himself and past the 20.
Yeah, you got to love big Logan Green. He's another captain. You got 2 defensive tackles as your captains, and the big fellow there, Green from Northborough, Iowa. You know, you see a lot of these boys from South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa. You get into the Twin Cities a little bit, but slugfest for a first half, Ben.
Montana State will punt it away on the other side of the 2-minute timeout here in the second quarter. A little smoke in the air here at Bobcat Stadium, but you know that wasn't going to stop fans from showing up to Bobcat Stadium tonight. A good one, but a low-scoring one so far in this top 3 showdown. With 2 minutes to play as Isaiah Garcia Castaneda back to return this punt for South Dakota State.
Yeah, it's been a doozy so far, Ben, and yes, it is smoky, but it is what it is.
140 yards for Montana State, 126 so far. As that one's blocked. And tremendous field position for South Dakota State. And the special teams issues continue for Montana State.
I was just going to say, so I mean, obviously Oregon saw something on tape last week. We're going to see it right now, but you know, they took a picture of it. You know, I say it every year, Ben. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's almost 80% of the time you get any kind of kick block, it almost always ends up in a loss.
Looks like it was Casey Larson who flew in to get that block punt. So again, excellent field position as we wind down this first half for the Jackrabbit offense. From the 21, first down. Lothridge following some blockers. Trying to truck a couple of defenders and inside the 10.
It looked like they were bringing a little counter back here to the boundary. Again, nice run by Lothridge, but nice job by that 605 Hogs. And they are knocking on the door.
Yeah, not only that O-line, but you look at Julius Lothridge, the transfer out of Fordham. Leads active FCS running backs in career rushing yards, and you can see why. A physical downhill back who can really bang bodies.
Okay, so you got the power pair into the boundary. Okay.
Timeout on the field. South Dakota State.
We are Jewelry Design Center, and we want to be your jeweler for life. Come see us in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
Yeah, Dan Jackson wanting to talk it over with just over 60 seconds to play in the second quarter. And with it being such a low-scoring game, I mean, this could be a humongous drive here for South Dakota State. They want to put up some points.
Yeah, and who is Coach Jackson? Coach Jackson played linebacker in college, played for the Jacks. All right, cut his teeth with the Jacks as a defensive coach. Last year, he was at the University of Idaho with his old buddy Jason Eck as his defensive coordinator. Right now, he knows he's got 22,000 fans. Nobody likes him. Minute 11 left. How can we take as much time off and just keep chipping, running the football? I was going to say before the timeout. Again, they're putting that 12 personnel, 2 tight ends into the boundary. Expect more in split zone, power counter. Quarterback
Mason,
counter.
Yep. Design run. Mason, too easy to the pylon. Touchdown, South Dakota State as they retake the lead.
I apologize for interrupting you there, Ben. It's just you could see the way they were setting that play up. And again, Coach Jackson wanted to take a timeout, make sure everything was perfect, and then they just ran quarterback counter right back into the boundary, went in untouched. And see, pull. Oh, dang it, I got to clear the screen first. A little rusty on the old arts and crafts time.
It's game one.
About, 8-9 months or whatever it's been. But just an excellent job there. Great block by William Papke. Almost too easy. Oh, and he's taunting the student section. You bet. But, nothing like scoring right before half. It's demoralizing as a defense. So offensively, we're going to see Coach Pete's 2-minute drill here because they have time. They have time with the minute 6. It'll be about a minute to get some chunk plays and hopefully get at least maybe 3 back on the board going in with some momentum.
And again, with so huge this game is this week, everybody's talking about it throughout the week. not only the biggest game in the FCS, you would argue definitely one of the biggest games in all of college football. No question, social media just blowing up not only today, but in the days leading up to tonight's showdown.
Seeing that top right with Kenny Iden and JT Reed, the stepbrother thing there, well, it warms my heart, and it also, makes me feel a little weird, man. I'm not gonna lie. This is cool though. I mean, I tell you, 2025 is like, what are they gonna come up with next?
And retaking the lead 10-7, South Dakota State. Yep, that's all I needed, just 2 plays off of that block punt. You got to take advantage when you get those takeaways.
You do, and you've seen both teams not do it. Again, going back to the Sac State game, I mean, it was 20-3, but it really wasn't even a game. I mean, they had opportunities and squandered them. Right now, it's just, I mean, like I said, these two teams are good teams. It's who's going to make the least amount of mistakes will end up winning this ballgame.
Jabez Woods from the 4. He looks for an opening, turns the corner, and lowers his shoulder and gets blasted out of bounds. And he's fired up after that solid return.
Well, it's a great return here by special team coordinator Marcus Monaco's return outfit here. But again, this is all Jabez Woods, and this is what I'm talking about now. I mean, all they need is about 2-3 chunk plays, and they're knocking on the door. Great return by that young man.
And that was a big point of emphasis from Brent Vigen during fall camp. They definitely wanted to improve the kickoff return situation here in 2025 from last year. So exactly 60 seconds to play with here for Montana State. 4 wide for Lampson. Pocket collapsing, and a dart over the middle. And about 4 yards short of the first down marker, Adam Jones.
Okay, well, Coach Vigen's not electing to use his timeout yet. They're still in that 10 personnel elect 2x2 deuce look here. Got to get the first down or probably use the next timeout.
And the hurry up look as Lampson in a foot race and wisely runs out of bounds. A big chunk of yards there by QB1.
Big time play by that young man. I mean, big time play. The pocket kind of collapsed on him. His first and second look weren't there. Next thing he goes on a thing, almost 30-yard scamper. Unbelievable play by him, and they're down in the red zone.
Again, such a dual threat for this Bobcat offense. 31 yards getting into South Dakota State territory. On the rollout, Lampson just gets rid of it.
Yeah, kind of a sprint out look. They motioned Taco Dowler there to the field to give kind of a three-man bunch set, looking for just kind of a quick little scroll route there to the field, get a quick hitter and get out of bounds. He wasn't there, throw the ball away. He still got 25 seconds on the clock.
Four wide again. Julius Davis now lined up. Design keeper again. Lampson up the gut. And maybe a gain of 1 as Brent Vigen will call timeout.
Yeah, got to use the timeout. I mean, I'll say this. Lampson's tough, man. He has taken a lot of shots. He just got hit again. The South Dakota State defense has been suffocating, done a nice job. Great coverage, taking away his looks.
Well, that's a big thing. You and I talked about this defense for South Dakota State. Not surprising when your head coach obviously is a defensive guy, but what do you like about that Jackrabbit defense, and how does Montana State try to put up some points here, not only late, but throughout the rest of this one?
Well, again, I mean, one team played the Oregon Ducks last week and one team played Sacramento State. Now, Sacramento State just gave Nevada Reno everything they had and almost beat them. But that, this outfit, I mean, is well coached. You got a defensive staff that has a lot of history with the Jackrabbits, starting with Coach Jackson himself, Jimmy Rogers, all the way to Coach Stig. But Coach Bergstrom, I mean, he's been with the program, since 2017. Left for a few years to go be the head football coach at Winona State, and Coach Jackson gets to come back, and what does he do? He hires old Jackrabbit dudes that know the culture, know what is expected, especially defensively.
3rd down and 10. Lampson Again underneath Adam Jones. Tried to spin out of a tackle 2 yards short of the first down marker, I should say, Joel Ullman, to bring him down. And the clock continues to run down to 3, and a timeout by Brent Vigen, as I'd imagine they'll bring out Miles Sandstead to try to even it up before going to the locker room.
And obviously he missed the first. It was a long kick. He had enough leg, just a little off target. But to have a touchdown scored on you, quarterback runs in unscathed, to get a few points on the board and going at halftime with the number 2 team in the country, you know, things aren't all that bad. Has this been perfect by either team? No. Is it early in the season? Yes. But I mean, this is the top 2, 3, top 5 matchup that everybody wants to see. What they think it was going to be, a blowout by either team? Come on. This is a good football game.
Yeah, in a low-scoring affair, you got to take any points you can. And that's exactly what Montana State will try to do to end this first half. Straight away for Sandstead. And now we'll get another timeout, this time from South Dakota State. So you talk about South Dakota State. How about this? Earlier this morning, not far away from here, out in Bozeman, look, you know, you got to go through a walkthrough any way you can. Out in a parking structure. I'm curious of who got this footage.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you know, you think you got a little privacy and you're up on a parking structure. I've been there, done it. I mean, we used to have walkthroughs anywhere we could. You could see Coach Bergs from there in the background. I don't know. It's like the dang Zapruder film here, Ben. I don't know where that came from, but you know what? It is what it is.
25-yard attempt for Sandstead. And nails it to even it up. All knotted up at 10. A tie game. Top 3 showdown in the FCS. Do you expect anything else?
Nope.
I don't think so. All tied up at 10 in a low-scoring battle between a pair of defenses who could definitely be physical.
And again, these 2 teams, I mean, it's almost kind of becoming a rivalry, as it should. I love the border state rivalries. You know, one's in one conference, one's in the other. But I mean, they've had a bunch of good dust-ups recently. I mean, a few years back, it was at their place. Lost, you know, some would say, you know, the receiver's foot was in bounds. The one Gold Rush game that we lost was against these guys back in 17.
To Grace Lawrence with Brent Vigen.
Yeah, Coach, your special team seeing some highs and lows. How do you evaluate them through the first half?
Well, we certainly can't get any more punts blocked, and that's awfully disappointing. We got to figure that out. Great response with the kickoff return, though, to at least get us a chance, and Miles putting that one through.
How do you think Justin Lamson settled in this first half?
Well, he's the one making most of our plays. I know him running around has certainly been a problem for them, and we got to be able to protect him at the same time. We got to get our running backs going, I think.
Thanks, Coach. Ben.
All tied up at 10. It's been fun. Low scoring, but it's been fun. It's what we expected in a huge showdown like this here in Bozeman. Halftime coming up with the Bobcats and the Jackrabbits doing battle.
Time now for the Scripps Sports Montana Chevy Dealers Halftime Report.
Rabbits are all tied up at 10 apiece, and I'm pleased to be joined with the Big Sky Commissioner, Tom Wistersill. Thank you so much for joining me, and what an atmosphere. How nice is it to be able to come out to one of your member schools for a Gold Rush game?
Oh, it's great. This is actually my first Gold Rush in my 7 years, and it's great to be here. You know, 2 top 5 teams. You know, we spend all off season talking about everything not related to the games. So to finally be back on campus, feel the excitement in the air, all the people are so fired up, the student section's rocking. Great to be here on campus.
Yeah, last season Montana State made a trip to the national championship, a Coach of the Year, a Walter Payton Award winner. How important was their success to your conference?
You know, anytime one of our schools can achieve great things, you know, that rising tide lifts all ships, right? And so Montana State had an unbelievable year. Coach Vigen's done such a great job with this program. Obviously the community and the support is really behind the program. Tommy Millot was a special player. Everybody misses him. But, you know, the great thing about our league is, you know, if you finish near the top of our league, you have a chance to do incredible things and play for a national title. That's the goal for every one of our teams, is to win a national title. Because if you win the conference, you have an opportunity. So Montana State's going to put themselves in position again this year, coming off a great year, and I really look forward to the way the season's going to play out.
Yeah, you talked about Tommy Malati, just signed with the practice squad on the Saints, but so many Big Sky rookies this year. You know, you can get there from here. That's your motto. Just tell me all about that.
Well, I think that sometimes people think that I have to go to a brand name nationally, like a top 10 FBS program, to get noticed. And I think what the Big Sky proves is that's not true. I mean, you can look all the way to like Cooper Kupp, right? You know, who's, been a long time since he played in the Big Sky, but is still a great quality NFL player. Great player development in our league. Our coaches do such a great job. They're so well connected within the NFL and all the scouts. And the NFL people know the Big Sky is incredible quality football. So they're always tracking our teams and our players. And that's why whenever somebody does something, that's why I say that. Because I want any high school kid to know, you come to the Big Sky and you do great things, the NFL is going to find you. And so we'll see what happens with this year's group of talent out there.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more from the commissioner. Welcome back in to the Chevy Halftime with the Big Sky Commissioner. You know, we're here at Montana State. They just have a new indoor facility worth millions. How important are those facility updates, in the arms race that's become in college football?
Well, you talk about the arms race, and you're exactly right. Obviously, weather is a huge factor in our conference. And so for the Bobcats to be able to practice indoors whenever they want, huge step forward. It's a huge help in recruiting. It shows, again, the commitment to a championship level of athletics. And it helps every athletic program. Every student athlete has access to that. So it's really great to see, and it really kind of dominates one side of the stadium, which is really cool. So it's really exciting for them, and it's going to be a game changer on the recruiting front.
Yeah, the Big Sky has so many teams in the top 20, this week and in recent seasons. How have you seen the success grown of your conference?
I love the fact that, again, everybody can compete for a championship. 12 teams in our league, 6 teams ranked. Basically, if you finish in the upper half, you got a good chance to get to the playoffs. Now, it's hard to finish in the top half, but that just shows the depth and balance, and like I said, the coaching in the league, the commitment from our schools, both academically and athletically, to be great in these sports, and the support that our fans have for the conference is just incredible. So it's going to be an unbelievable year for the Big Sky. This is my 7th season. I think it's the most wide open race. So many new quarterbacks, new coordinators coming in, and I think you're going to see a very interesting race to the end.
Thank you so much. That was the Big Sky Commissioner. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, Bob.
Second half coming up in just a few minutes. We take a look at the first half stats, and 185 yards, 147 between the two programs. But what you and I were talking about, Ty, those 3 sacks delivered by that South Dakota State defense.
Yeah, if you really evaluate the game, it's more balanced and even than you think. I'll tell you, what's helping the Bobcats right now is the Jackrabbits don't have a first down. They're 0 for 4. So
a fun second half in store when we come back to Bozeman. Fans filing back into their seats for what should be an exciting second half and a top 5 showdown in the FCS, all tied up at 10 between Montana State and South Dakota State, as the Bobcats will get the ball to start this third quarter. Jabez Woods once again back to return for Montana State, who's had a solid night so far, averaging about 26 yards per return. He'll call fair catch right in front of the goal line. Moments ago, Grace Lawrence caught up with South Dakota State head coach Dan Jackson.
Coach, how do you think your team's handling this atmosphere in the first half?
I think they're loving it. I mean, we're embracing it. Where else would you rather be right now? So I hope it gets louder.
Yeah, and what do you want to see out of Chase Mason in the second half?
Keep doing what he's doing. I mean, I think any stops they've had, as long as we continue to operate and don't beat ourselves, we've been moving the ball. Now we just continue to finish in the red zone like we did, and we're going to be in good shape.
And what more do you want to see out of your defense?
Defense is flying around. They've been hitting the quarterback. We just need to contain the quarterback a little bit more and then make sure we punish him when he gets outside the pocket.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dan Jackson loving his aggressive defense so far this season. Lampson again on the keeper as he plunges forward past the 30.
Well, 2 things. 1, I love Coach Jackson's attitude. Let's make it louder. Why not? Where else would you want to be? 2, if Lampson keeps getting hit like this, I mean, I know he's a tough guy, but watch, I mean, he is getting rocked. So my question for you, Ben, is where's Julius Davis and Adam Jones? But we're going to find out in the next 29 minutes or so.
By the way, you saw Chase Van Tol there on the stop for South Dakota State. Couldn't play in the first half, was ejected for targeting last week in the second half against Sacramento State, I should say. And there's Julius Davis as he gets tripped up and will move the sticks.
Yeah, the Van Tol kid, I know Coach Jackson loves having him back. And like I just said, you know, where's 32? Here he is, first down, move the chains.
And you know, he's got to be loving it dealing with those injuries last season.
No question. Big Ten running back, runs like a big dude. Originally went to Wisconsin. It's good seeing him healthy.
New set of downs. Lamson again keeps it himself, and he lost the football. Ball still on the turf. And a pile they'll have to sort through. South Dakota State says they have it.
I know I've told you this before, Ben, but the great Bill McCartney at Colorado used to say, to win, you must keep from losing. And right now the Cats are losing by turning the football over and having punts blocked.
Another takeaway by this Jackrabbit defense. And it was Joe Ullman who stripped it from behind.
You bet, a little CPR right there. Club punch rip. He just rips enough of it, gets the hands on the fingertips. Great play by that young man. I told you earlier, just watching the game last week, I like the way Ullman plays. Big time play to start off the half. That is not exactly, you saw a good shot of Coach Vegan there. He ain't real thrilled.
Solid night so far on that defense for Ullman. Groski in motion. Woffridge busting through the hole, but a flag flies in the backfield.
Yeah, I think it's coming back again. You're starting to see a lot of, creating gaps out on the perimeter. You're going to see a lot of pulling by the offensive lineman. That being said, I think it's coming back, Ben.
Holding number 4 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Well, you're going to see right down here into the boundary. Didn't have a real clean look, but again, they're starting to pull these big fellas, creating gaps on the perimeter. You can see right there, number 4, it's David Alpers, I believe, that just basically tackles. That's what they've called it, I think, Ben.
So now first down and 20. 3 wide receivers set. And trying to submarine through, not much going there. So we'll give it to James Basinger.
A good shot right there. Cole Taylor, we've called his name a lot tonight, I gotta believe. The Bobcat faithful are feeling pretty good about this young fella out of Great Falls. We saw Neil Daly in warm-ups. I mean, he looks good. I think I've told all of you guys, he reminds me of a bigger, thicker Braden Conkle that I got to coach here a while back. Just a long, rangy, great athlete. They're going to need him back.
Taylor right now leading the Bobcats in tackles so far. Mason again escapes the pocket. And another flag is thrown again in the backfield.
Flag on the play. To take away with the stop.
Holding number 69 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Okay, you're going to see big 69 right here. Quentin Christensen, we've talked about it. He's a junior captain. Right there, he just gets his arm above Kenny Iden's neck there. Great call by the referee.
I'll bring up a second. 30-31 to go for this Jackrabbit offense. On the screen. And short of the 40-yard line. Groski.
Yeah, it's always nice to get an offense into second and 30, Ben. Just trying a little jailbreak screen here down to the boundary. Not sure if we're going to see a replay on this, but it's great inside out running there by Caden Dowler. And again, like I said, I mean, I know it's a 10-10 ball game. A lot of the statistics are relatively balanced, but where Montana State truly has excelled defensively is on third down, as South Dakota State has yet to convert one of them.
Yep, 0 for 4 tonight. Mason buying time, slings it to the near side, incomplete. Again, trying to feed Ogroski. And again, fans, if you want to see yourself on the broadcast, show up your team spirit, send us your best super fan photos, and you can see yourself on the big screen coming up later in the fourth quarter. Scan the QR code on the screen and upload your favorite fan shots. We'll pick some of the top photos and showcase them. Again, coming up later here in the second half. Of course, that's sponsored by Marsh McLennan Agency. So 4th down now for South Dakota State as the Bobcat defense holds. Taco Dowler really looking to ignite some fireworks in the return game for the first time tonight. A booming punt as Dowler stepped out of bounds near the 5. What a leg there from Max Pelham. Montana State back on the field when we return.
Tonight's game is sponsored by Montana State University, Mountains and Mines, Town Pump, Pump It Up, Stockman Bank, Montana's brand of banking, your Montana Chevy dealers, and the University of Montana. Build your skills the Montana way.
Beautiful shots from Bozeman, Montana, and the hometown team pinned deep in their own territory as Justin Lamson in the offense looking to make something happen after coughing up the football on their first drive of this third quarter. First down and 10 from the 5. And knifing his way up the middle, short of the 10-yard line, Adam Jones.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, honestly, just as talented and smart of a football player as Taco Dowler is, you know, to catch that on your own 5, what, you know, as the ball's taking you out of bounds was kind of a ill-advised decision by that young man.
And we talked about it even going into the break before that punt. So good in the punt return game last year. An uncharacteristic mishap there from Taco Dowler. To the ground game again. Adam Jones stays on his feet. And brought down by, well, I'll just use plethora of Jackrabbits.
It's a great word, a host.
Yeah.
A plethora. You know, so, you know, I think, you know, I'm questioning it. You know, what, you know, are they trying to establish the running game? I think that they are a little bit, but, you know, South Dakota State's defense has just been fantastic.
Well, that was the big thing going back to that Oregon game last week. Brent Vigen saying they just couldn't establish that running attack against Oregon. And right now, Montana State 127 on the ground. 3rd and 5. Lamson, incomplete. Tried to dial it up for Taco Dowler, and a 3-and-out forced by the Jackrabbits.
Yeah, it's a great play right there. I mean, just very, very tight coverage by Noah St. Just there, the sophomore corner. Just a nice play. They know who, you know, they know who they're looking for. It's probably Taco Dowler. Nice play by him. Great three. Was that a 3-and-out? I mean, it's just kind of a defensive game right now. Both offenses trying to figure it out.
Will be Froker to punt it away in his end zone.
You know, and like I said, you know, not trying to, you know, knock the guy, but again, Taco's decision to catch on the 5, any way you cut it, South Dakota State's going to have a pretty good field possession, a great open field tackle.
Yeah, Garcia Castaneda couldn't go anywhere as Carson Williams was able to wrap him up.
Absolutely, it's a great open field tackle for the young man out of Houston, Texas.
Great punt coverage there. Still no points on the board in the third quarter. Well, Ty Gregorek, we're not really used to calling low-scoring games in the 4 years we've now done this.
No, it's crazy. I mean, seeing the fan, you know, as a fan, I'll say this: in the last hour, I've gotten to see Coach Dennis Erickson, who you just met, Coach Jimmy McElwain's up here. I'm a football fan too, Ben, and we got some star power in the house tonight. But yeah, 10-10. When was the last time you and I called one of these games? It's been a while. Like, never?
I can't come up with any.
NAU a couple years ago, maybe?
Maybe. Trips on the near side at the bottom of your screen for South Dakota State. Mason pumps, and he'll dump it to his wide open target as he rumbles out of bounds. And here we go, fan zone time with the Marsh McLennan Agency. Check out today's featured fans. And again, want to thank all of you for sending in these awesome photos throughout the game, not only from the fans in Bozeman, all of you watching back in Brookings as well. Being treated to a great one here in the early weeks of the college football season. Second down and 1. On the handoff, Loffridge cuts upfield.
Yeah, you got a tight bunch, formation in the boundary with a 3-man split zone. Good backside pursuit by Kenny Iden. But again, this, they're both trying to run the football. I mean, you can see the Bobcats still hold a lead in terms of total yardage. The Bobcats are actually out rushing them too. This thing truly is going to come down to turnovers, and a block punt might rear its ugly head at some point.
Straight up the gut, Loffridge again. Just being a bully in that running game. And the time of possession, I don't mean to cut you off, Ty, I apologize, but the big thing too that Dan Jackson harped on, not only this week but last week, time of possession. They want to win that time of possession battle. 41 minutes last week against Sacramento State, but right now it's dead even between the two squads.
Right. And you gotta love it, dude. The fullback position is such a dying position, and it's cool to see an outfit still use a fullback in different parts of the game, different personnels.
Play fake, quick hitter on the far side, incomplete, jarred loose. Carson Williams there.
Really nice read, really nice break, and you can just see slow into his back pedal. Great read by Williams here. Won't see it right here, but just a nice break. Ball's a little low, but still very catchable. Right here, you can see it. Just pop, break on it. Good pop, jar the ball out.
In and out of the hands of Graham Goring. And a third down and 4. Again, you see it right there. Struggling on third down tonight, this Jackrabbit offense. Mason will try to do it himself. Again, just powers his way to move the chains.
You know what I love about that call there by offensive coordinator Eric Eidsness and Coach Jackson? When the game is on the line and it's a money down, like third down, give the ball to your best players. Big, tough, 6'4", 240-pound guy. Oh, you need 4 yards, coach? Here you go.
Again, showing that toughness. Loffridge looking for a window to the 26. Taden Gray there to bring him down.
You know, he's kind of had a quiet game, but I don't think it's been as quiet as you think. Big play Tay, they call him Taden Gray, the nickel out of Arlington, Texas. You know, he just quietly is having a really, really nice game, making a lot of tackles.
The coaching staff saying it's a different Taden from last year. One of the fastest guys on the team. 4-yard rush, second down. On the rollout, Ogroski out of bounds. And slowly but surely, the South Dakota State offense just marching down the field on this drive.
I really like Lofton Ogroski. I tell you, last week, he rushed the ball 3 times and actually scored a touchdown for 31 yards. Also had a really nice game in the air, catching 76. He's just kind of a Swiss Army knife player for this Jackrabbit offense. He's a good player.
Yeah, the coaching staff thinks he has the potential to break out this season after missing part of spring ball with an injury. And has definitely shown that playmaking ability as he's in motion to the top of the screen. The flip, Loffridge. Met by a duo of Bobcat defenders.
Yeah, but I mean, again, this goes back to number 7, big play Taden Gray. Watch him into the boundary here. You're gonna see him right here. Slips the block. He says, you know what, you're a 300-pound dude. I'm not. I'm going to use my athleticism, beat you underneath, make the play. Nice play by him. They're chewing a lot of time is what they're doing here, Ben. I mean, again, this is most likely, in all likelihood, going to be a one-score possession, win or loss for each team.
Ninth play of this current drive. Lothridge trying to knife his way between a couple more defenders. And yeah, like you said, they just continue to pound the rock, as that will bring up a third down.
Again, average, 6'5", 310 pounds. The 6'05" Hogs are getting some push. They're getting a lot of push, actually, on a defensive front that's heralded as one of the best in the Big Sky.
Lothridge will come out on third down.
I mean, again, a double-digit drive. You can see a lot of hands on the hips right there by Coach Howe's defensive unit. They got to bow up big time here.
And they'll bring in their fullback, Andrew Gustad, in. Bringing an even bigger body in, but before that, timeout called by Dan Jackson. Big third down coming up with under 5 to play in the third. Third down upcoming for South Dakota State's offense from the 10-yard line. Yeah, just continuing to march down the field. This will be the 10th play of this drive. Over 5 minutes taken off the board.
Well, South Dakota State just got their first third down conversion a couple plays ago. Can they get their second to continue this incredible drive? It's chewing off a lot of clock, and it's kind of wearing down this Bobcat defense.
Gustad and Lothridge in, and Mason takes a seat. Bringing the crunch in the backfield, Hunter Parsons with a big sack.
It's a huge play by Hunter Parsons, but I got to tell you, they got dang lucky. Because watch this over, it is wide open. So fantastic job by that front, because there was no one that saw that tight end. Great job by Hunter Parsons and company.
Well, this coaching staff at Montana State said, hey, you'll see Parsons a lot on third downs. That's exactly why. And now an even more difficult field goal here, even further out, to try to give the Jackrabbits the lead off the foot of Eli Stater. No good, missed it.
Wow.
And South Dakota State doesn't like that call.
Well, tough to see that. Here we go.
Yeah, this is the best angle right here we'll get.
Well, yeah, if you don't like it, make it. What a game. It's block punt, missed kick, turnovers, third down inconsistency. Feels very early in the season, Ben.
Very much so. As the student section erupted after that missed field goal. With under 4 minutes to play here in the third, still no points.
Well, what
scored by either squad.
And what a heartbreaking. I mean, you just took off a huge amount of time. You just wore down the defense and got 0 points out of it.
Lamson picks it up from the turf, and a dart to Taco Dowler. A gain of maybe about 3 or 4 there. Knifing through the defenders, Julius Davis shakes away a tackler. And near midfield, Julius Davis showing his physicality in the run game.
Great blocking up front. Nice job by Julius Davis finding that seam, and then what a nice open field by Isaiah Johnson, because the only thing going to tackle this kid after a bit is the end zone line. Nice job finishing the play right there. Big play for the Bobcat offense and needed by them.
because they've had a couple explosive plays offensively, but not a whole lot in the catalog tonight.
Yep, again, you're going to see both tight ends here. Just inside zone read here.
Montana's largest credit union offers Montanans the best way to save. Whitefish Credit Union certificates are available now.
Justin Lamson back to the line of scrimmage to bring up second down. Lamson tonight 10 of 14 through the air for 75 yards. To go along with 64 on the ground. As Davis now leaves the backfield, empty set. Here on 2nd and 10. Underneath. And Deck near the 50-yard line, going to Hunter Province.
Yeah, we haven't called his name a ton tonight. The big redshirt sophomore, Hunter Province. You know, you almost, just with the way this game is going, you know, they got 3 pretty solid tight ends. You know, maybe start incorporating them as part of the package a little bit more. Big third down right here, right about midfield. This just past midfield.
Montana State 3 of 8 on third downs tonight. Dowler motions. They fake the sweep. Lamson with an eternity, incomplete. As he underthrows his intended target. And Dane Steele.
It's interesting, as much play action as they're doing with Lamson, how much they're moving the pocket, he's still getting hit a lot. I mean, those are quick hitter type plays. Just kind of a 12, 15-yard drag over the top, and he's still getting contact, even getting rid of the football.
And a booming punt into the end zone for a touchback.
Well, one drive went a whole long time with 0 points, and one went pretty quick for not as many minutes.
But again, Montana State has been dominant in Gold Rush games. This is the only time they have lost, and coincidentally, I'm sorry, Ty, I hate to do this to you. Last time that South Dakota State got the 31-27 win over this Bobcat bunch back in 2017.
We had to do it, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You know, that's Ben and Terry's like nephew or something.
Yep.
I mean, he was a great player, great game, back and forth, and yes, the only loss in the history of Gold Rush. I was here for it, Ben.
Mason, a quick hitter. On the far side, going to Lofton. Ogroski once again.
Very similar type game, honestly. Just having bad flashbacks of it, but you know, just a back and forth exchange. That fake field goal definitely was a dagger.
But just overall, this South Dakota State program has definitely had the Bobcats' number over the last couple of years. You just go back to that 2021 semifinal game where Montana State got the win and made their way to Frisco. Lothridge trying to drag the Montana State D lineman. And maybe a gain of 2 there, third down.
Yeah, it's a third and very manageable. I mean, you do have to love the Lothridge kid, though. I mean, they really found something by going to Fordham of all places to get a transfer. But this guy, you know, he gets hit, and he just keeps churning those big legs. He's a good player. Excited to watch his season this year.
Well, he's a hard worker. Dan Jackson telling us on our coach's call earlier this week, he was talking to Isaiah Davis, obviously another tremendous running back for this South Dakota State squad. And he was giving Julius things he needs to get better at. So definitely a big talent in that running back room. As that will end the third quarter here in Bozeman. All tied up at 10, thanks to a pair of QB touchdown runs and a big fumble. Fourth quarter next from Bozeman.
Tonight's game is sponsored by Montana State University, Mountains and Mines, Town Pump, Pump It Up, Stockman Bank, Montana's brand of banking, your Montana Chevy dealers, and the University of Montana. Build your skills the Montana way.
Well, you know Main Street will be popping tonight But will it be a festive celebration or heartbreak as we start the fourth quarter in this top three showdown in the FCS? Third down. Mason rolls to his right, able to elude a tackle, and the walls close in on him. That Montana State D-line gets it done again to force fourth down.
Great inside pressure there by the big fella, Paul Broad, and then capped off by number 11, senior captain Kenny Iden.
Yep. Kenneth Iden, the first man there.
Joined by his buddy out of Missoula, Zach Cruz. Bring out the punt team.
The third sack on the night for Montana State.
Which is actually a heck of an improvement for the Jackrabbits, Ben, as they gave up 7 last week.
Yeah, that O-line having a good performance tonight. Dowler. Nowhere to go, comes down awkwardly. But thankfully for Bobcat fans, he's okay. The defense, the story tonight in this top 5 showdown. Long way to go in this one. Tied up at 10 between Montana State and South Dakota State. And again, the defense, the story in this one. As you look at the summary of the scoring in this one, like I mentioned before, a couple of QB runs into the end zone, especially after that blocked punt back in the second quarter. But how about this time? Only 445 total yards combined tonight between these two clubs.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, you just know which one you were talking about. Defense. Both defenses are playing great. Great job by both coordinators and their units. It's going to be a heck of a 14 minutes.
Trying to juke his way, Julius Davis. Not much there. And for much more on Davis, back down to Grace Lawrence.
Yeah, Ben, this season SDSU is playing for more than themselves, as Nate White, their teammate, passed away in his sleep of natural causes this summer. And not only did this tragic loss impact SDSU, but he was friends with MSU running back Julius Davis. The two just a couple years apart in age, both grew up in the same area of Wisconsin and both started their collegiate career with the Badgers. SDSU's wearing number 3 stickers on their helmet to tribute White this season. Nate's impact definitely felt this game, guys.
Yeah, no question. They are playing for their fallen running back here in 2025. And pushed out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. And yeah, Nate White, the tragic thing obviously was he was really having a big spring. It was really slated to have, you know, a lot of reps between him and Julius Loffridge, and obviously that's got to be tragic for that program. Julius Davis, and you see the 3 on the back of the helmets. And last week in their home game against Sacramento State, members of Nate White's family in attendance. So obviously our thoughts are with the program.
No question. Tragic story, and awesome that they're recognizing him throughout the entire season.
Deep shot and batted away, incomplete, but a flag flies.
Well, I think they're going to call it, they might call it defensive hold here. And I thought I saw it out on the perimeter here on Dane Steele. So let me see it real quick.
There is no foul for pass interference. 4th down.
So it's down here to the boundary. I don't know if we're going to be able to. Nice play. Obviously, they're playing at some kind of a star coverage there on number 14, Taco Dowler.
Well, you knew this Jackrabbit defense was going to hone in on Taco. I mean, 12 catches last week against the Ducks.
Yeah, no, they're doing an outstanding job.
And now we'll get movement on the line.
False start. Number 33 of the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, it's still 4th down.
Well, they're going to give the Jackrabbits a little better field possession. And just while we got a little time here, Ben, I got to give a quick shout out to 2 great former Bobcats the Hewlin twins, Dan and Don, who are celebrating their 70th birthday. They played on the 1976 championship for the legendary coach, Sonny Holland.
And that one shanked out of bounds. And the Jackrabbits will get the ball right at the 50. South Dakota State looking to put some points up.
Tonight's game is sponsored by Town Pump.
Well, hi, welcome back. We're still tied at 10 here in the second half.
Hey, Ben. How we doing?
But again, we go back to our question of which top 10 Big Sky Missouri Valley team has the best chance to win the FCS National Championship this season. South Dakota State taking it at 37%, just in front of their rivals up in Fargo. And you also got the Grizz as well. Of course, sponsored by Williams and Plumbing. First play on this drive, Lothridge to the 45. So we talked about the defense, Ty, and we were kind of talking about this during the break as well. And you look at the offense for both teams. Yeah, there have been a couple explosive plays, but there have been some mistakes and everything. But you know what? Let's go back to defense then.
Well, no, you're right though. I mean, on paper, statistically, both defenses are playing well. That being said, both offenses just look kind of disjointed. Neither can get in a great rhythm. You know, they keep trying different personnels and formation, and you know they'll get some good plays, and then they'll just stall. You know, so again, nothing taking away from the defensive performances tonight. It's just you're not seeing a ton out of the offenses in my mind that makes either fan base go, "Oh yeah, let's go. This looks good."
Only 1 yard there from Lothridge. Yeah, 6 tackles for loss, a trio of sacks, and that forced fumble caused by that Bobcat defense tonight. Now looking for another third down stop where they've held South Dakota State to 1-8 tonight. Mason, design keeper again, trying to stretch his way for the first down, but a yard short.
Well, again, this is that inside linebacker, just that middle cross pressure. And I can tell you that Bobcat fans are going to be excited about a young man out of Great Falls. I know I've said it before, but Cole Taylor looks like a player. And this is a big fourth down. Now, last week, I think I said it earlier, they were 2 of 3 on fourth down. Here we go, big people.
All bunched up on the line. Mason trying to find a hole and getting help from his own lineman.
That's the South Dakota State version of the tush push right there, Ben.
They got it.
How about there were teams this year in the NFL that were trying to outlaw the tush push? It's like, you know, how many different soft rules can they come up with in any given offseason? That's too dangerous.
And Andrew Gusted also providing some help there, doing what fullbacks are supposed to do.
Yeah, and you can
that other big body in there.
No doubt. You can see Ryan Cray trying to peel him off there at the end, but that 605, man, the 605 Hogs just got lower.
Lothridge, again, just continues to churn.
Lothridge with the run.
Now with Eckert there to bring him down.
And you can see the mentality right now of the guys in blue and white, and that's just, you know, okay. We'll take 2 or 3 yards. We're going to go really, really slow, methodical.
Again, this is what their offense wants to do. Take time off the clock. 41 minutes last week against the Hornets.
You bet.
Mason pulls it over the middle, wide open. Ogroski hurls a defender inside the 10.
Mason's pass complete to Ogroski.
Yep, and there was, looks like Caden Dowler can't just go throw his shoulder. He's going to go wrap and run, but this is a great play by the Jackrabbits. Nice job by Mason here. And then, like I said, you know, Ogroski, again, I have a sample size, but boy, he's come too big the last 2 weeks, and there he is again on the touchdown.
Another touchdown by Lofton Ogroski, and the Jackrabbits back in front. And meanwhile, Carson Williams shaken up.
Fantastic drive by the Jackrabbits. You know, it's exactly what they, you know, both teams, we've seen them, both offenses doing it. They just couldn't do with it, you know, finish the drive.
They'll tend to Williams. Jackrabbits back in front. Lofton Ogroski 8 yards into the blue turf to give South Dakota State a 16-10 lead, and now the PAT upcoming for the Jackrabbits.
And the way this dang game's going, Ben, this PAT is huge right now. I mean, just that extra point. I mean, every inch, every point is 1,000% going to matter in this ballgame tonight.
Stater bangs it through. And going back to Ogroski's TD.
Great perimeter, sorry, I can't speak right now, but great perimeter block out there by Jack Smith. You can see him right there, just pin and get enough, and then the rest is on Ogroski. Nice drive, way to cap it off with points.
Seven plays, just under 4 minutes on that drive. So like we talked about, offensively for Montana State, only 10 points on the board. Again, I know there's a lot of newcomers, and last year they led the FCS in total offense. But right now, you know, the offense just not really clicking for Montana State. And even when you get into the red zone, sponsored by AVA, 2 touchdowns for South Dakota State when they get in the red zone.
Nope. No question, but you know, I'll say this: South Dakota State's defense. I mean, it's a sample size, but last week they made the go-go offense look like the goo-goo offense. Let's just call a spade a spade. They beat them down. They curb stomp Sac State, and today, again, a lot of times with just 4-man rush, they've gotten a lot of hits on Lamson, and they're playing very well. Coach Bergstrom's going to be very thrilled and pleased the way his defense is playing.
But obviously a lot of mistakes offensively for Montana State. That fumble, a pair of them, forced by that strong Jackrabbit defense. And then obviously the missed field goal. And the special teams issues, because then you got the blocked punt as well. So again, mistakes by this Montana State bunch. Has them down 17-10. That block punt, pair of fumbles, and that missed field goal. Adam Jones looking to provide a spark. And that D line for South Dakota State really continuing to plug up those holes in the interior.
No question. I mean, again, I keep applauding and lauding Coach Bergstrom and his defense, but that defensive line coach, Coach Logan McCormick, you know, he needs his props too. These guys are playing very, very well. Again, a lot of veteran leadership up there with 2 captains, with their 2 D tackles. Their front 4 are some dudes, I'll say that.
Lamson to the air. Incomplete. Tried to go to Ryan King, and that one almost picked off.
Yeah, that was close as well. Miles Taylor, he's going to be kicking himself because it would have been a tough catch, but catch a bull, and again, another turnover this deep in Montana State territory. That could have been absolute dagger.
Third and 8. 3 of 10 on third downs tonight. 4 wide, Lamson lets it fly. In and out of the hands. Intended for Jabez Woods.
What a play. I mean, it looked like an excellent ball. We're going to see an ISO here. You can see it right up top. They're just doing a little switch route right there. Great play by the secondary.
And McShane able to poke it loose.
You bet. Big time play. But you know, that's what South Dakota State's doing a good job. They're not in Montana State's offense. Not a lot of 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2s. They're 3rd and 7 to 10, and those are high percentage plays, you know, defensively.
Garcia Castaneda backtracks, retreats, and brought down near the 5. As that special team swarmed all over him.
Yeah, this is just an awesome job And I believe it's Mason Detham, I think. I couldn't see the number here. Nope. I believe that's him. That's a great job. Great special teams play. Big booming kick. Fantastic job pinning him down inside their own 15.
And you can kind of feel it in the stadium. Montana State needed a little bit of a jolt.
They did.
Now the fans are starting to get back into it.
Well, and you got the biggest part of the stadium population-wise with the Sonny Holland end zone down there. And they're going to, hopefully, it sounds like from up here, anyway, things will start getting real loud.
On the ground, Julius Lothridge stretches forward to about the 14-15.
You can see Zach Cruz there. Obviously, a college football rule, the helmet comes off, you got to go off. Good shot of Coach Jody Owens there. And Coach Baptiste, big D line. Just saw Coach Sean Howe. Been with Coach Vegan his entire time. Coach Daly left for UTEP. He gets his turn to run the show. Talking to those guys, it just sounds like there's a little different, but a lot of the same verbiage. And Coach Howe's going to put his twist on this defense.
Mason, he wants the deep shot. Incomplete as he tried to go deep to Alex Bullock. Facing the double coverage.
And it was good coverage. You know, Taden Gray's just got to be careful. You got a little handsy there, but they didn't call it. But good tight coverage there by Taden Gray. You're going to see it right here. You can see right down here. You can just watch this. As this becomes an in-phase throw, right there, his left hand, yeah, I thought, but you know, I mean, probably a good no call.
Blitz coming, Mason. Buying time, gets tripped up, 4th down. Bryce Grebe in pursuit.
Yeah, so what they did there, Ben, I mean, for everyone in the stadium and at home watching it, look, they gave the illusion like they were bringing the house, all right? We call this bogus pressure. So you can see all these guys up here, but they're still dropping players. So it's still just you know, it's not as many people coming as they think. Great play call. Nice job by Bryce Grebe there. Obviously the younger brother of Brody Grebe. I talked about Hurley, South Dakota. I haven't talked once about Melstone. It's even smaller.
Gained a lot of confidence filling in for Daniel Louis-Lekepa last season. And a miscue, not able to punt it away, and a touchdown by Montana State. Special teams. Miscues now for South Dakota State, leads to 6 points for the Bobcats.
Wow, wow, wow. And who that is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bobcat country. That's Seth Brock. And I only really know that because he coached my dang son's flag football team last year. Seth Brock out of Eagle, Idaho. Way to make a name for yourself there, son.
Yeah, Max Pelham just couldn't connect. One of the easiest TDs you'll probably ever see.
He might not get another one in his entire career, Ben, but you know what? He got one there. My man, my little man, Jax, is going to be happy as heck because this kid is a great human being when they're great with children. And I'm an instant fan of Seth Brock. Big time play by that young man. And what a momentum shift. Now, oh, and by the way, Ben, it's tied again. 17-17, here we go.
Well, you expected crazy things to happen in a big showdown like this, and boy, did it ever. All tied up with over 6.5 to play.
Well, there's absolutely 3 phases of the game. 4, I always say there's 4, right? Offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. And a game like this, 2 versus 3, absolutely fascinating that special teams are going to be the deciding factor in this ballgame. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Did you ever think in a top 3 showdown that special teams could possibly be the factor in a game like this?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, you know, you and I called the Weber State game
a couple years ago. Don't even get me started on that one.
You know, where it's like Weber State played really good. They failed in the special teams area, and that lost them the game. But this game, man, I tell you what, between missed kicks, block kicks, whatever you want to call this, you know, I mean, I think he just, you know, bobbled the snap. And then again, Seth Brock, that feels good.
It is getting weird when the sun goes down here in Bozeman. Garcia Castaneda takes it out. Looking for a hole. And gets to about the 22-yard line. What the heck? Let's take a look at it once again.
Well, we should. People are going to be, not real thrilled with Coach Monaco and some of the things the teams have done tonight. But hey, this is 7 points, and that is a big. Listen, when this young man just continues to add weight and learn the defense and figure it out, he is going to be a dude at Montana State. I'm just telling you. And then a great shot here. A lot of happy. I mean, shoot, a 6 o'clock game. I wonder if there's been any consumption throughout the day, Ben. If I was a betting guy, I'd say yes.
Probably for a big game like this. Brayton Gannon, the man in motion. The handoff. Lothridge just decked behind the line.
Ferocious shot here by Hunter Parsons. I mean, my goodness, Sparks, Nevada, getting to play his redshirt senior year. And that's something, in just today's age when guys are coming and going, to see these big dudes stick it out and stay and get a chance to make an impact. What a great job by him, using his hands. Huge play to get him second and long. And this place is coming alive. You were just saying it, between that kickoff return, the punt, this place, it's like Bobcat Nation's just, you know what, we still got a game to yell our brains out for.
And now we got movement up front.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty and still second down.
William Pepke with the happy feet.
He's like, Coach, I can't hear myself think, let alone the dang out the quarterback. A guy we haven't talked a ton about tonight's right there, Big Paul Brock. I want to see what he does on the next few plays here.
Mason with a clean pocket as he connects with Lofton Ogroski. Who else? Cole Taylor with another tackle.
Well, Cole Taylor's going to be a player. I think we've established that. That being said, that was a nice play by the Jackrabbits. They were second forever there. I mean, I know third and 9 is not always what you're looking for, but at least it gives you a play call that you can at least feel maybe good about.
Mason facing the pressure over the middle. No one in the area. 4th down.
Yeah, you're going to see this. You're going to see this on the replay. You're going to have the Cole Taylor, Zach Cruz here. We'll just watch these guys up front. These guys are bluffing. That was like the old teapot right there. I'm going to drop, but then I'm not. Watch the inside. They're all giving the illusion like they're going to rush. You can see right there, Cole Taylor. You look like I'm going to drop out. No, I'm not. I'm going to come. Here we go. Great scheme by Coach Howe. Great call. Great execution by the Bobcat defenders.
Taco Dowler will field this one at the 20. Trying to bounce to the outside, cuts inside. Dowler still on his feet before finally being taken down.
Montana's largest credit union offers Montanans the best way to save. Whitefish Credit Union certificates are available now.
All right, Ty, Montana State's offense back on the field. How do they drive down and take the lead?
Well, you'd love to see them. They got 4 minutes and 43 seconds. You and I have both watched these guys over the years, like where they said we can hold on the football for the remainder of the game, no problem. They've been pretty erratic today, in terms of what their identity is and what they're trying to do. Don't turn the ball over. Get positive plays each game, and let's see if we can, just take chunks of time off this clock, while hopefully getting some points, whether it's 3 or 7, and make South Dakota State really work in one last possession if they get it.
2-yard gain there by Julius Davis. The numbers tonight for Justin Lamson: 80 yards through the air, 11 of 19. Also 64 on the ground with that touchdown run. As Brent Vigen looks on. Just over 4 to play. There's a trio of Bobcats motion. And now tight end set. Go to the other end. Lamson with an eternity. Once again will scoot. Uses legs. Cuts inside. Lamson taken down from behind as he'll move the chains. Again, so versatile. Can get it done with his arm and with his feet.
Well, again, South Dakota State's front four, I mean, my goodness, they are collapsing the pocket in a hurry. And this is an unbelievable effort play by Dawson Raperda, number 99 here at the end. But fantastic job. Fantastic job by Lamson. We're used to seeing Montana State quarterback. I was thinking about it. Between Chris Murray, Troy Anderson, Tommy Malott. I mean, these are some of the fastest players in the history of the program, and now we got this big dude, but he can do the job on his feet, man.
Wings it out to Adam Jones. Not much there. Miles Taylor wraps him up.
Shooting before Murray. I mean, it's not like Dakota Pro Cup couldn't run around too. The guy was a pain to try to defend. Every time you thought you had him, he's squirming out of stuff. And he ended up transferring to Oregon, ironically. But this is what I'm talking about. They just took off, you know, without even like really trying. They just took off a minute and a half. Get positive yards, take time off.
Lamson eludes one tackler. Throws it away. Yes, he was under pressure there.
Well, this front four for South Dakota State, man, I mean, the O-line's got the 605 Hogs. If they have a nickname, I need to find out because they have been impressive tonight.
Three sacks by this South Dakota State defense. Now looking for a third down stop. Over 2.5 to play here in regulation. Lamson on the slant. He connects with Jabez Woods, but he's going to be a few yards short of the first down marker as Chase Van Tol brought him down.
Well, it's decision-making time here, Ben. You got 4th down. You're sitting here at the 45. Your defense has been playing lights out, by the way.
I imagine Brent Vegan will probably take this down to the 2-minute timeout to give him a little extra time to think about it.
You just called it a 2-minute timeout.
Yes, I did. Well, there was a thriller 2 years ago out in Brookings. No different. Tied up at 17 at the 2-minute timeout. Well, she definitely knows how exciting Big Sky football is. Get ready for game day with Megan Robinson during This Week in Big Sky Football. You'll hear from your favorite coaches and players, plus get an insider's look at the conference. Watch every Saturday on this Scripps Sports Station. Check local listings for times in your area. So out of the 2-minute timeout, Brent Vegan will elect to punt it away and give it back to South Dakota State.
I was just giving you grief, Ben. I know you know the game. You know it's called the 2-minute timeout. I'm a little old school, you know. I can't get over the 2-minute warning.
Oh, I know. High in the nighttime sky as Garcia Castaneda calls for fair catch.
1 minute, 53 seconds. 90 yards to go. What a game. I mean, 4 years together, man. We've never done a game like this.
I mean, we've called nail biters in the last couple of years. Nothing like this, though. But like I talked about going into break, it came down to the wire 2 years ago when these two programs met up out in Brookings with the Jackrabbits claiming that one.
There was some crazy, crazy plays, including one of the last ones where, I mean, it was so close, so close.
Like you said, 90 yards to go. On the road, Chase Mason in the offense back on the field. Julius Lothridge stands his ground before getting brought down. Caden Dowler.
Well, and with both teams' kicking outfits, we both just said 90 yards. I mean, they're trying to get, they're just trying to get their kicker a chance right now. Take some time off, get some.
And the timeout called on the field. Well, like I said, Ty, the last time these two teams met just 2 seasons ago near the beginning of the season, a wild one. Of course, you had Tommy Malott, Sean Chambers in that dual quarterback role here at Montana State. I mean, who could forget Mark Gronowski and just how talented he was as a passer at South Dakota State. And of course, this play initially ruled a touchdown Cleveland Thomas, but was reversed after the review, and South Dakota State wins that nail-biter 20-16.
Insane game, and obviously if you're a Jackrabbit fan, you absolutely thought that was the right call. You thought you were if you're a Bobcat fan, you're going, I saw rubber pellets come up from the turf. His foot was in. But yeah, man, I mean, this is becoming a rivalry. I mean, North Dakota State, Montana State. Montana State, South Dakota State. I mean, this is what this fan base wants to see, are these great teams against regional opponents. And oh, by the way, they're very, very good.
Quick hitter on the near side, going to Graham Goring. Yeah, a matchup of FCS Blue Bloods. Battling it out tonight here in Bozeman. Taden Gray with the stop, and that leads to another timeout.
Well, they keep calling it the FCS game of the week. I mean, there's not going to be too many games around the country at any level that will have had all the fireworks and bells and whistles as this one does. Good shot of Champ right there. Champ's not an idiot. See, he's not in the second row with the dudes. He's up front with the ladies, Ben.
No comment. But I think this is kind of the game that a lot of people were expecting. Kind of low scoring, 2 defenses, kind of a good old slugfest between 2 FCS powerhouses.
And it is. I mean, you look at the total yards. I mean, both are under 300. Time of possession's not crazy out of whack. The third downs haven't been great for either. 2 turnovers have proven to be pretty dang costly. And then obviously the third phase, special teams.
1 of 11 on third downs. And will be short of the line to gain. Kenneth Iden brings down Chase Mason to force 4th down as Brent Negan will call another timeout.
Yep, you can just see that D line right there. Kenny Iden getting his pads underneath and just getting enough and holding them to about a yard. I mean, they got no choice but to punt here. Good shot of Coach Vegan. Unbelievably successful in his time here. Eddie Robinson, award winner last year. You can see him talking there to Coach Monaco, his special teams coordinator.
You know, obviously the job he has done in Bozeman the last couple of years, taking this program to a pair of national championship games out in Frisco, coming up just short a year ago against North Dakota State, who won another national title. And saying they won another national title, it's probably a little bit of an understatement with the dynasty they've been in FCS football.
And that's what people forget, not if you're in North Dakota. They were a dynasty in Division II football too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a program that's just had crazy amounts of success. I remember playing them when I was at Montana when they were making the transition from D2 to FCS, and you could just tell, you could just see these guys were going to be a force to be reckoned with. It took them a little time under Coach Bowl, but once he got them going, man, I mean, the rest is history. There hasn't been a coach there that hasn't won a national championship since Coach Bowl.
The offense back on the field. We'll see if they actually snap it or try to get Montana State to jump. Play clock under 10. Yep, that's what the Jackrabbit offense was trying to do.
Well, that's what Coach, you kind of just saw a brief glimpse of Coach Howe with the entire defense there. And that's what he was saying is if any one of you jumps here, you're fired for life. You're fired. Don't jump.
The illegal substitution, Montana State. There were 12 players on the field, which resulted in the timeout. South Dakota State will not be charged with a timeout. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Wow.
Because I was going to say, when I thought the timeout was called, it looked like there were that many guys on the field.
12.
Yep, there you go.
It is. I remember actually I was at the University of Washington. We were at the Big House at Michigan, and the exact same thing was at the end of the game. We had ones and twos all together, coaching up the scenario, and a young freshman DB went out on the field, gave them back the ball. Very similar. That is, if you're part of the Gold Rush tonight, that's nothing short of a Greek tragedy, having 12 men in that scenario right there.
Big mistake there by Montana State. New set of downs for South Dakota State. Mason, he'll escape the pocket, pumps, and will just trot out of bounds and gets tripped up. He's getting out of bounds will stop the clock. Cole Taylor in pursuit.
Wow. add it to the laundry list tonight, man.
I know, man. Eli Stater possibly getting ready. Again, he's only been with the program for about 2 or 3 weeks. He could be called upon to possibly make the biggest kick of his collegiate career, the former NAIA All-American. 2nd and 2. Mason, incomplete as that falls to the turf, intended for Lofton Ogroski.
Well, I know it's only week 2 for both these programs, and there's been FCS programs that have already played 3 and finished 3 games, Ben. But this might be one of the biggest third downs of both outfits' season right here. And when I say that, I mean obviously if either team lose, it's not the end of the season. However, at our level, and even the next level now with the playoff system, this is a huge game in terms of where both these teams want to be come post-Thanksgiving and into December.
Trips near the bottom of the screen, rifles it, incomplete. Knocked away by Taden Gray.
Big play, Tay. Get used to hearing that, Bobcat Nation. This guy's going to make a lot of plays. He's healthy. His attitude is good. He's feeling it.
And now Dan Jackson will bring out the punt unit. Taco Dowler looking for fireworks. Another booming kick and a fair catch called by Dowler. Now the Bobcats with the chance to drive down and to at least get in field goal range.
Here we go. Buckle up. Let's go. It is crazy just knowing how highly ranked both these teams are, as they should be. And you look at the third down, and the combined third down for both teams is 4 of 25. 4 of 25 on third down for the number 2 and number 3 team in the country.
4 wide as they start at the 22. Lamson looks to throw. Bunnell tuck it and run again. And spun down. And the clock will continue to run.
Nice play by Colin McShane there. I know we've talked about him. Led his defense last week against Sac and had a nice night tonight.
Quick to the line. Lamson still looking for options. And throws it into the sideline. I mean, what else could you want in a top 3 showdown in the FCS?
Well, if you're part of the 22,000 plus here, it's called a W. But yeah, I mean, this game has had it all. Or most. It's had most. We haven't seen a ton of explosive plays. I feel like it's been a relatively quiet night for Taco Dowler, who was so electric last week. Seeing Adam Jones and Julius Davis not have a ton, very running back-esque.
Adam Jones spins and almost had some breakaway there, but a first down for Montana State. And again, quick to the line. The clock rolls. Lamson, clean pocket underneath. Back to Adam Jones and gets drilled. Again, the clock runs, getting down to 20.
Right. They're out of timeout, so they're going to have to be very, very sharp here with a quick play or get rid of the ball in a hurry.
Yeah, quick to the sideline. Lamson, as he connects with Dane Steele. 11 ticks left.
11 seconds left. I mean, realistically, they got to get a chunk.
Because right now you're still not in South Dakota State territory just yet. If you're Miles Sandstead, even though he has added leg, you want to get probably about inside the 35. Lamson, a lot of time as he dives forward, takes a lick.
That's going to be it.
Yeah, no timeouts. And we're going to overtime in Bozeman. Wow. I'll say it again.
Here we go.
What else would you want in this epic showdown? Overtime we go. Number 2 versus number 3. And you look at Brent Vegan right there, talking with Justin Lamson, because he took off and ran, and obviously that ran down the clock. So again, to highlight the overtime rules in college football, after the coin toss, the winner, of course, chooses possession. Each team will start from the 25-yard line, and of course the rules that were updated a couple of years ago. In the second overtime, after a touchdown, team must go for a 2-point conversion. And if we go beyond that, we're going to alternate 2-point conversions to decide this one.
I'd say there's no way in HE double hockey sticks we'd get to anything past the first, but tonight, I mean, not that you could see the moon because there's so much smoke, but I'm not throwing anything past this game right now.
Well, I think I can maybe steal it. I called games for Pac-12 for a number of years. We heard Pac-12 after dark. When do we start FCS after dark?
I like it.
I don't know.
Big Sky after dark, and we're out west. Well, look how it turned out for the Pac-12, though. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, hey, trust me. I grew up on the west. I got to work at Washington with Coach Neuheisel, Coach Hauck. This could be a fascinating finish, though.
Packed house again here in Bozeman. The South Dakota State squad, again, faced so much adversity during the offseason when Jimmy Rogers took the job to go to the Pac-12 at Washington State. So many new faces, a couple players returning. You looked at a couple guys like Chase Mason as well as Quentin Christensen, as Grace Lawrence alluded to early on in this game. I mean, really got a lot of guys to stay in Brookings, buy into it. Obviously, Dan Jackson being a part of the program. He wanted to keep that tradition going. That was started by Coach Stig back in the day.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like I said, there's going to be some differences. Everyone has their own personality and their own spin on a program, but you know, both these guys, whether it was Coach Vegan, what is now 5 years ago, which is crazy to say, or Coach Jackson, there was a culture in place, and then it was just, how do we take that culture, put my own spin on it, and take it to the next level?
Montana State will be on offense this direction. Each team will have one timeout in overtime period and one challenge for the coaches.
All right, so the Bobcat offense with the ball first here in OT number 1. And you see Dan Jackson right there. And of course, we want to welcome everybody who is watching the conclusion of that game out in Missoula, about 3 hours away, Montana against Central Washington. And you joined us for a thriller as we're going to overtime here in Bozeman, knotted up at 17. Dan Jackson and his South Dakota State Jackrabbits looking for a big win on the road, another win against Montana State. And this game has had everything. Miscues on special teams, quarterback scoots to the end zone. But now as we start this overtime, Montana State will get the ball first. Lamson on the keeper. And maybe a gain of 1 right there. Joel Ullman on the tackle.
Yeah, it looked like the offensive concept was right there. It just wasn't blocked very good. I mean, Joe Ullman basically came in untouched there from the middle linebacker position. And again, I mean, I like Lamson's toughness. The guy is, I mean, what's the popular word anymore? You're not supposed to say tough. You're gritty. He's so gritty. But he's going to need a couple Tylenols tonight, man. That guy's taking a lot of hits.
Not only tonight, but a couple of them last week down at Autzen. Julius Davis now to the left of Lamson on second down. On the slant, he's got a target. And a first down, Dane Steele making the grab.
Nice job redeeming yourself there, but from a couple quarters ago when you put the ball on the ground. Good sharp route, nice catch, low and away.
Again, Dane Steele really needing to step up tonight. Chris Long out for tonight's game, the transfer out of Rutgers, who his coaching staff raved about during fall camp. New set of downs for the Bobcats. Julius Davis mazes his way through, tried to pinball off a couple defenders.
And that's kind of the Julius Davis, this crowd kind of, got to know a little bit a couple years ago when he was in, full force, just that big, strong, physical rushing attack.
A killer mentality. Doesn't really have breakaway speed, but really good feet. And very physical. Pair of tight ends in motion, 2nd and 3. Lamson, now to Adam Jones, inside the 5.
Well, it's a nice drive to start overtime. They're keeping their defense off the field, which they've played a healthy amount tonight. They're getting those 2 running backs, 32-23 going.
And just short of the first down marker, so 3rd and inches. Possibly some power bully ball here on 3rd down. Schlapp motions. Adam Jones lowers his shoulder and again moves the sticks.
Tough physical run there by Adam Jones. It's easy to look at Julius Davis and go, yeah, well, that's the Thunder, he's the Lightning. But I got to tell you, this guy runs very, very hard. He's dedicated himself to the weight room. Sean Herron, the strength coach here at Montana State, has done a great job with this kid. He runs the ball hard downhill.
Quickly to the line, 1st and goal. Lamson, another give, Jones, stretching for the blue turf touchdown, Montana State.
Okay, Ben, here we go. That looked like that whole series, they just went 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, and just running inside zone, outside zone, giving it to their 2 stud running backs. You see right here, just inside zone, fantastic job by Adam Jones here. They're just trying to watch those guys, and what a great job by Adam Jones here, man.
Miles Sandstead on for the PAT. The shortness of breath there for a second.
Okay, you can just see the 2 tight end look. All it is inside zone. The big Don Joy Mafia they're kind of trying to figure out their way with lots of new position changes and restructuring, different player here and there. Gritty, I'm using the word gritty, tough drive to start out overtime.
TD number 2 this season for Adam Jones is a big one here in overtime. And now Chase Mason, who again has waited a long time to finally get his opportunity after sitting behind Mark Gronowski. Gets the opportunity to help tie this game and send it to a 2nd overtime. 1st and 10 out of the eye. Quick hitter. Double pass to the end zone. Incomplete, but a flag flies.
It's 1,000% pass interference because he knew it. We'll see it from the end zone. He knows he was beat. Tried a little trickery to start off the start their drive. We're going to see the all 22 here. It's just going to be a double pass. You can see right back here on the back end of this. No, I'm sorry. It's on the front side, right there, right up top there.
Pass interference, number 6 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Brian Meredith hanging on to Grayton Gannon.
Yeah, and again, you know, the defense, we've been talking about MSU's O-line and how they've had to kind of plug and play a little, but defensively they've had to move some guys around. Bryant Meredith was the backup nickel. He's now playing a ton of free safety for him with Taki Yu being out.
And now at the 10, first down. Lothridge up the gut. And again, another big, strong physical run by the transfer out of Fordham.
Yeah, we're going to see it right here. Again, it's just zone. Just running inside zone. Big old open hole there. And another physical run. I mean, you know, it's overtime.
Chase Mason. Nope. Before the snap, the whistle blows. As we'll get penalty markers.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 62 offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Yeah, that's the big fella, Kenyon Big Bo. The coaches, you know, again, it's all about the culture. And Jason X started this with the O-line years ago. But he's one of the youngsters, and the coaches feel really good about this guy, just a little early. And again, that's a compliment to a sea of gold down there in the Sonny Holland end zone. It's loud.
Bobbled snap, falls into the hands of Lothridge. And back to about maybe the 3-yard line, maybe the 4. Third down from the 4.
Good shot of Coach Sean Howe right there, getting his shot to run the defense.
Needing 2 more stops to win this absolute thriller on a Saturday night in Bozeman. As now they have Andrew Gustad in, as he'll leave the backfield, and before that, timeout.
Coach Jackson didn't like what he see. I mean, again, they bring in Gustad. He's usually part of their, you know, their big people packages, 21, 13 personnels, and then they were shifting and flexing him out to a wide receiver position. I don't know if that was trickery or if something was just a little off kilter.
Well, that's what they did last week against Sacramento State. He had that receiving touchdown in that 20-3 win.
That's true, Ben, but they still brought him out of the backfield. He was,
very true.
He was in a king set, and they ran basically a power pass out of a 21 look.
Saw Dan Jackson right there. Looking for his squad to get into the end zone and extend this one. Again from the 4-yard line. Third down.
And absolutely not trying to jinx anything, but South Dakota State, you see Gustad now in the backfield. They've been very, very poor on third down tonight. They're trying to change that right now.
Mason will throw, jump ball, Lofton Ogroski hauls it in, touchdown South Dakota State, and a field goal away from sending it to OT number 2.
Ogroski's a baller, man. I mean, just watching 2 games of this kid throughout you know, the first 2 weeks of the season, this guy is a Swiss Army knife. I mean, he's getting, I mean, that's as tight as coverage as you can get by Jace McMillan.
And now Eli Stater out. A crucial point after try. Bangs it right through. What the heck? Let's play more.
We should. We should.
Again, you and I have called crazy games over the years. I think this definitely ranks up there with that Montana State Weber State game we did about 3 years ago.
Yeah, you know, people who don't know They always ask why. And it's like, well, it's easy. There's two major, I'm air quoting major schools in Montana. We don't have Division II, Division III. There are NAIA programs. I know North Dakota and South Dakota are similar. We don't have pro teams. We're it. The Cats and the Grizz are it in Montana. South Dakota State, South Dakota, right? North Dakota State. I mean, it's just a special, there's nothing like this for hundreds and hundreds of miles. Obviously, if you're in Fargo, you're a few hours away from Minneapolis, but, in these states, it just means so much to these young men. And, you and I joke and talk about the transfer portal. Very rarely do you see young men that grow up wanting to don these colors, wanting to be a part of this program, who maybe had a dad, uncle, grandpa, whatever. A lot of those guys they're not leaving. They're not taking some money to go to what's now the defunct Pac-12 and then get to sit the bench and while their team still does well. So in these states, it just means more. It's kind of like the SEC. It just means more. When you're in Montana and the Dakotas, it just means more. And look at this crowd tonight, man. I mean, it's awesome. It'd be the same thing in Brookings tonight if the Bobcats were there.
Yeah, not surprisingly. I mean, it was a sellout crowd last week for that South Dakota State Sacramento State game. Tremendous fan bases out in Brookings, here in Bozeman, and obviously making this atmosphere absolutely electric. Overtime number 2 as the Jackrabbits get the ball. Faking the sweep, Mason, he wants the deep heave, touchdown, South Dakota State. What a strike right there for 6.
Well, and they just flat lost. They just lost Braden Delahoyd, man. I mean, you watch this replay here. He was unaccounted for. He's right here, and next thing you know, it's the old, Goose Maverick. Where'd who go? They completely lost number 10 here, running right up the hash. Easy score. There was a little miscommunication there by the Bobcat defense for sure. And great play call by Coach Idness and his offense.
All alone on an island right there. And obviously now you got to go for 2. Following the TD catch from the redshirt freshman. Mason gets tripped up.
He did trip, and he had Alec Eckhart coming hard off the edge. But yeah, a little case of the turf monster there. That's a big stop right now, Ben. That's a big stop. Again, I mean, you can see these guys trying to point out who's got who. They got to keep adjusting now. Formationally, the defense had to keep moving back to the field. We're going to see an all-22 here. Oh, okay, this is the touchdown right here, Ben. Okay, so I mean, defensively, they just got to keep sliding. But right here, that post safety's got to keep working towards the post. Great play call, great execution by the Jackrabbits there, and that'll be very curious to see how that 2-point play.
Play fake, wide open in the flat. Cutting back inside, Adam Jones. Enough for a first down.
I tell you, this guy, I mean, what a fantastic story. I mean, how often do you hear of a kid that plays as a true freshman and then comes back as the preseason offensive or defensive player of the year? I mean, obviously the coaches and you guys got a lot of good things going for him in Adam Jones, I'm talking.
And definitely had opportunities to go to a Power 4 program, but leaned into loyalty and being a Montana kid. And Julius Davis with the carry. Picks up a couple.
Yeah, in the last few years, you'd look at each other and go, well, they're going to run this out. They're going to just keep running, and the run game's just been it's hard to say that, because they've rushed for over 200 yards. It's just been a little erratic at times tonight, where you just the confidence isn't quite there.
Lamson on the crossing route. Once again, finds Taco Dowler. Now bring up third down.
Bringing in the 2 tight ends again here.
5 of 14 on third downs tonight, Montana State. Yeah, you got those two big boys in Ryan Schlepp and Rocky Linchoni in there for the Bobcats. Lamson, design run. And tripped up, 4th down. Dawson rippered up. Brings down Justin Lamson.
Yeah, they shifted to an unbalanced set, heavy overload. They're back to the field. Now you got the 2 tight ends out, so you're assuming 10 personnel. That's basically what we've seen on the Bobcats tonight. Four wide receivers, or they're two tight end packages. But here we go, Ben.
Yep, 4th and 6. Jumped offside, free play to the end zone, incomplete. Ryan King, the intended target.
Offside, number 99 of the defense in the neutral zone at the snap. 5 yards, still 4th down.
You're going to see it up top here, Ben. Right here, that's number 99, Dawson Ruperta. He just got a little excited. That's a never. That's a can't happen in this situation.
Still 4th down, now just 1 yard to go. Again, Lamson, a physical runner at QB. He said he loves these situations, trying to extend this game on 4th and 1. Lamson, the give, Davis.
Wow, this is going to be so close. So close.
Yeah, both teams saying
this is a spot that's for the ages right here, Ben.
You can hear the South Dakota State coaches in the room next to us saying he didn't get it. Long discussion.
If the spot stays, from what I see up here in the booth, he is short, Ben.
Yep. But again, we do have a little bit of an angle.
No, we do. But he has to get to the 4, right? Is that what you see? I don't think
that's what it looks like.
I don't think he got to the 4 from right here.
This game is going to come down to the chain game.
Oh my goodness. What a game, no matter what. What a game for South Dakota State to come in here and just punch for punch.
I mean, the anticipation, my goodness. So they still got to get it set.
Oh my.
And he is short.
Short of the 1st down.
Wow.
South Dakota State once again knocks off Montana State.
Wow. Wow. I can see Coach Bergstrom and the boys over here. They are going nuts, as he should. Coach Bergstrom and his defensive staff and his unit just played their hearts out. Their hearts out, and to come in one of the toughest places in FCS and get a victory by an inch. Wow.
Literally by an inch.
Boy, these two teams, man, I mean, just, woo.
Yeah, just what an absolute thriller. Here in Bozeman, 30-24 the final in double overtime. And of course, time now to find out who is the Whitefish Credit Union player of the game. No question, this guy, a big target the entire night in that passing core for South Dakota State. Lofton Ogroski with a big night.
I mean, you could see it kind of brewing last week. I mean, the kid, they were getting him involved in fly sweeps. They're getting him out on the perimeter. Obviously some help from his buddies there, but my goodness, this kid, I call him the Swiss Army now a couple times. He is a player. He's going to do some great stuff for this team and in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Again, this coaching staff for South Dakota State said they thought he had the potential to break out, and boy, has he emerged for this Jackrabbit squad as they go celebrate in front of the Jackrabbit section here in Bobcat Stadium. 30-24 the final. in another classic between these two FCS Blue Bloods.
Ben, how about 18 gold rushes? 18 gold rushes with 16 wins and 2 losses, and the 2 losses are to who? I mean, good night. The men from Brookings.
Down to Grace Lawrence, who's with the winning head man, Dan Jackson.
Coach, double overtime. How did your team get it done?
We're gritty, we believe. We've been through a lot harder things than double overtime. So guys never stopped believing, kept fighting. Honestly, it's good for us to get this overtime situation in, but I don't think it needed to get to that. We just need to continue to get better.
How much trust do you have in this team and your starting quarterback?
I mean, I love our players like their son. They're my own son. So trust them with everything I have. Chase is a competitor, and he just continued to fight and will us to a victory tonight. I'm really, really proud of him. Proud of the staff. I mean, our staff. We got the best staff in the country. This is them and the players.
How did your team step up in this rivalry game in this hostile Gold Rush environment?
This is what we do. I think we play pretty well when we come out here. So it was fun. I mean, our guys embrace a challenge. They love great environments like this. I'd rather play in front of 20,000 than 2,000. So, you know, awesome for college football. But I'm a little bit speechless, which doesn't happen often. I'm just so proud of these guys and our coaches. We got so much work to do. I mean, we're not even close. We're not even scratching the surface of what we can be.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congratulations. Ben?
Yeah, no question, a gritty group out in Brookings as they get it done in double overtime. Final look at the stats between the Jackrabbits and the Bobcats. Again, the Bobcats outgained the Jackrabbits, but like we talked about, Ty, a lot of mistakes for Montana State offensively and on special teams. And yeah, I mean, just, man, what a thriller.
Well, I mean, you look at total yards, right? I mean, first downs basically balanced, the two fumbles lost, the missed field goals. Montana State's going to turn on the film either late tonight or tomorrow morning, and they're going to kick themselves over squandered opportunities. Some, you know, just you want to call it early season stuff, but you know, Coach Vegan has done a great job of having to replace great players, great coaches. That's what happens when you have success, and they got some soul searching to do, Ben. I really believe they do.
Now they'll look to bounce back next week when they welcome in San Diego here to Bozeman. Don't forget, a lot more coming up on the postgame show. But for now, that will do it here from Bozeman. For Ty Gregorek, Grace Lawrence, and the rest of our always terrific Scripps Sports crew, I'm Ben Crane saying so long from Bobcat Stadium, where South Dakota State takes down Montana State 30-24 in a double overtime thriller. So long, everyone.